There's a deadly virus out on the loose. So you best be scared, you best be protected. So roll up your sleeves and get your ass injected. Step right up, but come and take my juice. They drop it like flies. Don't you watch the news? If you don't take my juice tonight, you gonna get sick. You're gonna surely die. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. Step right up, come and take my juice. Another variant, another boost. Now don't you judge my history, and I'll take no liability. Yeah, step right up, come and take my juice. I want you healthy and your children too. My juice don't kill, that's a bunch of lies. If it happens to you, I'll censor your demise. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm. I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend. Cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. Stay right up. Come and take my juice. If you criticize, I'll silence you. No way, nobody gonna ever hear. I'm gonna make sure that you disappear. Yeah, step right up. Come and take my juice. I will pay the media to terrify you. Cause when you scared, you in the palm of my hand. Now you line up, and you're the man. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm. I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend. Cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. Take my juice, I'll shame and I'll blame if you simply refuse. I'll take your liberty, I'll take your rights, your body, my choice. Now ain't that just nice? Step right up and come and take my juice. You have no choice and no excuse. Yeah, I will force if you don't comply. Yeah, take my juice or kiss your freedom goodbye. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm. I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend. Cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm. I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend. Cause I know you'll be back again and again and again.
Do not be ensnared. Do not surrender your bodies to these walls in sheep's clothing, pretending to help you when the exact opposite is true. Do you really think they want you healthy when they are financially dependent on the sheep? Do not let them deceive you into their medicinal temple of doom. protecting you to death with their ungodly toxic potion. You are not their experiment. Resist. Do not comply. Rise up.
Hello, hello. Welcome to my show, everyone. I am here and I am inhaling a gas that I know so little about that I don't even know what to call it. And so I have Benjamin Balderson on the way to explain this. We already recorded an episode. The image is already made for the thumbnail. It's coming out next. We already have a link to this thing on the website. It's apparently miraculously helping Crow's mom, Crow's wife, Crow. Ben Balderson says it's amazing and that he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Christy, his wife, is using it too. Jason has been using it. I used it for the first time last night, and I wasn't doing it in front of my computer, so I had no idea that I could find out what I would look like if I have the nose job my mom thinks I should get. So guys, should I get it? I think it looks fabulous. And also, I just love what it's doing to my lips. I just feel so wonderful. So anyway, Ben is on his way. I have Lincoln here. Come on, Lincoln. Let's get in here. How's it going, my friend?
Rose,
It's great to see you.
it is so good to see you, man. I've missed you guys. Hey,
I've missed you too. I've missed how you Australians say hey at the end of your sentences.
hey, how you going? Yeah, no worries. That's pretty much how we roll. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you in a hotel?
I am. I hotel it when I'm home. I have nowhere to live, so yeah.
I am so glad I took the risk and asked because I didn't want you to be like, no, this is like how I decorate, you know?
No.
But it's a hotel. So
I
are you going to ask me about my gas?
Okay, so this is super cute. Ready? Wait a sec. Let me just put this on there.
Wait, I couldn't understand. You say that one more time.
I'll just put you there for a second. I spent the morning with my daughter, Isabel, and she painted me this.
Oh. Oh.
It's ridiculously cute. So that's
Hold it up.
me, that's her, and that
Hold it up.
is her love for me.
Hold it up.
Yeah, very, very cute.
Closer to the camera. Very cute. It looks like a mushroom.
Yeah,
And
super
how
cute. Yeah, I have this really cute book as well that I take with me to work as well. So yeah.
Wonderful. And should we show your video that you sent me on Telegram?
Do you, yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Hey, which one? Like all my mind vine, my funny stuff.
Your funny stuff.
Yeah.
I just think it's fabulous as well. I don't know why I keep saying everything's fabulous tonight. Maybe it's because the gas is just making everything fabulous. But wait, just to finish my thought before I added you, last night when I did the gas after, I think you're supposed to do it for 5 minutes to start, but I'm just crazy. So I did like a half an hour the first night. And Jason and I were trying so much. We were trying a tissue over it and just trying to figure out if anything was coming out of it. And then finally, by putting it inside our ear, you can hear it.
Wow, really? Okay, that's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Here's the machine. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, good. So it is. It's ridiculous. This is why I started the stream, because I was just sitting here thinking I didn't do my own research for this before putting out the episode because I'm trusting Ben Balderson. Okay, it's called an Aqua Cure.
I love it when Ben is on, by the way.
I trust him, but it's being hypocritical because you shouldn't just trust people, So anyway, but all these people have tried it. Crow's tried it, and so anyway, I said that it didn't do anything to me. Jason woke up this morning and said he had crazy dreams, very vivid, and when he got up and then went back to sleep, it was really easy to fall back asleep and go into it.
Yep.
And then I went to dinner tonight and didn't get sick or anything, and I just played the piano for the first time in a few months.
How good? That's cool.
then I felt like doing this. So maybe it is, maybe it is doing something, but we're just going to see. So I thought, anyway, we're going to show your funny video and then we'll go to the website and like find out together what is this stuff. I think it's
Sure.
just helping you to inhale
yeah.
more oxygen and hydrogen. And it's really simple.
For sure.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to actually download your video so that I can share it on StreamYard.
They're just. I just get bored, so I just make funny things. So yeah.
It's
How's
so
Jason?
brilliant.
Is he good?
I was just gonna say. Oh wait. I was just gonna say that. I was telling Jason when I sent it to him last night, the text message. I said, Lincoln's just everything's so crazy in Australia. He's just so isolated because he's the only person that can think. So he puts together these videos that you would expect someone who's like having a psychological breakdown from being in solitary confinement would make. But since you're not actually in solitary confinement and you're just really funny, it's not depressing.
That's pretty much how I roll. I get through it like that. Yeah.
Okay, fellas, welcome back.
Hold on. I have to figure out how to download it. Here we go.
Well, fellas, welcome back. Okay, so what it is, Rose, it's my take on.
Okay, fellas, welcome back.
Whoops. It's your take
on pre-start meetings. So every morning at 6 a.m. we have like a pre-start meeting, and we talk about what went well yesterday, what didn't go to plan, how we're all going, and it just gets so monotonous that I can't help but laugh and want to do my take on it. So that's what it's all about. So yeah.
Fellas, welcome back. 3 nights to go and we're home. Sorry, Richo, can you pull that music down just a little bit, mate? Sorry, you weren't supposed to hear that. I'm ashamed. Hey, Richo, what do you want, Davin? That's Gavin with a D. Do you reckon we could call you Dick? I dare you. See what happens. Copy that. Davin. Scotty, how are you? Raring to go. Scotty, what do we talk about? Safety first. On to it, Scotty. Sago, how are you? When I'm here, I want to be home, and when I'm home, I want to be here. Here, I want to be home, and when I'm home, I want to be here. Sago, you want to start a band? That is why I don't want to be here. Fellas, good news. I reckon Lyndon's making his way down.
I found a love.
Fellas, how are you, lads?
You remind me of Chopper in that.
Dano. Right. Is there anything I can do to boost morale, make this place even better than what it already is? Hi, Lyndon. Davin, that's Gavin with a D here. I was thinking we could have a fancy dress and or favourite colour dress up day. Possibly, Davin, possibly. What's your favourite colour? Orange. Always good to see you, fellas. Have a good night. Stay safe out there.
So Rose, so everyone is real. Like Richie, Scotty, Sago, everyone is real. Lyndon, except for Davin. That's Gavin with a D. I just made that one up because the face was so funny. So yeah.
There is a Davin with a D in the chat all the time from Florida.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I can't wait for him to see this because it's just so fun. And isn't it interesting how those filters, which if someone had a gun to my head and they said, make an Instagram thing with a filter on your face, I would die because I don't even know how. And can't.
So that's Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat. Isn't it weird how those things, like, as soon as you put the filter on your face, I don't know if it's just you, that your face on those filters makes you look like real people.
That's why I come up with funny voices and just I was using my creativity, my creative energy, like it's my outlet. So yeah. And I laugh at it myself. So yeah. And the one that I see you like, the 2-minute one, I made that for Joel on his birthday because he was at work. He has a young son and he was down and like, this guy's my manager, by the way. I'm like, come on, dude, you got to spark up. Like, what's going to make you laugh? I said, like, could I make you like a mind vine? He goes, like, make me a mind vine. So I did it. Yeah.
Love it. Lincoln, you're the best. I saw that I missed so many people in the chat. Like I accidentally skipped.
Oh, go for it.
Bob
Sorry.
from
Yeah.
Globebusters. I missed Bob from Globebusters. Bob.
Oh, Bob's here, is he?
I would never do that. And then Marky Rizzo, and then more people came after that, and I said hi to other people. So it went by too fast. Welcome everybody. I'm so happy to see everybody here. It is so great. And Lincoln, I'm going to say goodnight to you because Ben is here.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I hope you have a wonderful day in Australia.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's midday here in Adelaide, South Australia, and all the best. And send my love to Crow and Jason, of course. And hope to talk to you soon.
Okay, I will talk to you soon. Bye, my friend. All right. Now I've been waiting for this moment. I don't know if it's a coincidence that Ben and I talk all the time and we always talk about doing a stream together. And I'm like, man, I feel too shitty. I can't do it. And then the day after I try this stuff for the first time, I just feel like doing a stream. So it's something. Welcome, my friend.
Hi. Oh, this is such excellent news.
Do you do this? Do you hold it because you want to make sure that they're actually going up your nostrils? Or am I just a total obsessed person?
No, you're obsessed. And Christy is too. She takes and she puts the little thing underneath her chin and everything and pulls the little thing under her chin so it stays under there and everything.
I had a weird moment do you ever get a weird feeling and it takes you back to the last time you had that bad feeling?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So when I started waking up, my wake up process actually in a weird way started off with what's the word? Like trashy radio, because it was first Howard
Love lines
Stern,
and shit.
Right. First Howard Stern, exactly, Love Line or something like that. And then Opie and Anthony. And then I discovered Patrice O'Neal around the same time that I discovered Mark Passio in 2013. So I was like Natural Law. And then I was accidentally, through the Patrice O'Neal comedy, misdirected into the MGTOW idea, because I love self-deprecating humor to begin with. So it's like, oh my gosh, MGTOW is totally for me. Fuck women. So anyway, so then I was, waking up and I just wanted to like something inside of me woke up, and I guess a Christian would call it like the Holy Spirit. I don't know what it would be in Odinism, but I just was overwhelmed with wanting to be with goodness. And like, I didn't feel like, for example, doing my gore makeup in October anymore. Like I even removed it from Facebook. Like I have brains coming. I'm a like professional status, never got paid for it, but professional status gore effects makeup artist right here. Nobody maybe knew that, but I stopped wanting to do that, and I just didn't care about watching slashers, and I just didn't care about. I didn't want to put nasty, bad, violent stuff in my head anymore. And I was listening to a clip of Opie and Anthony, and they were doing. And I mean, even saying it right now, it's actually not that bad. But in that moment, when I was really doing some soul searching, they were making fun of the conjoined twins, Brittany and Abby Hensel. And they were like, saying sexual stuff. And I had to turn it off. And that moment was just so freaking weird to me, because I thought I was like into crude humor, because I like to be one of the guys. I like to be cool, and it's like makes you edgy and stuff. And then it's like, wait, but there's just nothing good about this, And so let me tell you why I'm bringing this up is because I'm sitting here with the gas, and I'm doing a Dennis Hopper impression and thinking like, I love David Lynch. Like that's one of my favorite freaking movies. Blue Velvet is the best. And then I went back to look at the scene of him inhaling. By the way, I may have discovered a Mandela effect here, but I went back to the scene of him inhaling. And it's like, I don't want to do that impression. I don't want to say those things. And I still enjoy the movie, but I don't want to be that character So it's like that feeling again where it's like my soul has changed and the same things don't like interest me. And it's so like I was like making the
That's
name
fantastic, though.
of the stream, and I'm like, I don't really want to say act like Dennis Hopper because he's a freaking weirdo that was like abusing someone. So the social engineering and the brainwashing worked on me so well that it's like going to take me another 10 years to try to deprogram like saying lines so that I can feel relevant to a society that I'm not even part of anymore.
Right.
And
I mean, the fact.
Let me let you get a word in edgewise, and I'm going to actually type the next thing I was going to bring up. What are you thinking, Ben, or should I keep going?
Oh no, you go right on ahead.
Okay.
No, this is just wonderful. All around, Christy and I had real similar results where the next day I was, I normally am pretty active right away in the morning. I'm a morning person anyways, but in the winter, especially, and during these weather shifts, my left side really binds up. And so it takes me a while, and I usually kind of just hover by the fireplace till my left side warms up. And I was out running around at like 7 a.m, just screaming up and down the mountain. And I don't think I stopped till dark, and just couldn't stop going, just full of fire. Christy slept like a log that night. And Christy's a horrible sleeper. She is not a good sleeper at all. She tosses and turns and gets up all night, and she just does not get a good sleep. And she got really good sleep. One of the interesting things, though, that I found, because I smoke cigarettes, but I've been doing it for a lot of years, and so I don't smoke like a little kid. So, but there were times, when I was young and you'd go out or whatever, you'd smoke a whole bunch of cigarettes or whatever, and you get a nicotine headache. And all of a sudden I'm getting nicotine headaches, and it's a very distinctive feeling, the nicotine headache is. And so what happened. And now all of a sudden I'm getting nicotine headaches, and Christy has not been dabbing because she gets too high from the dabs now. So that's very interesting. So it's almost like the nicotine is affecting me a lot more. And for her, the THC is affecting her a lot more. So like and when you look at what the hydrogen's doing, hydrogen is actually hydrogen and oxygen are your two halves of water, and that would be the earth level of mercury. And yeah, that thing is just awesome. That would be your earth level of mercury. And so then you've got to look at the negative and positive aspects of mercury. So with oxygen, it's taking away, it's ripping apart, it's ripping a piece out. And then on the hydrogen side of that mercury, it's incorporating it into the other side. So the hydrogen is making like a fusion type bond. The things that came over from the anode are now being incorporated into the cathode. It's allowing that bond to happen super easily. That's why the torch that he has allows it to melt metal at 270 degrees, which is like less than a Bic lighter. And it's melting steel. It's because it's allowing them electrons or negative ions to get into that metal much easier and turn it to liquid. And you're not having to do it at such a high heat. So the same thing's applying to what's going on inside of your body. It's allowing things to incorporate into your body much easier. So I suspect that's what's happening with the nicotine and the THC. And now I'm getting nicotine headaches off of a amount of nicotine that I've been smoking for a very long time. I've been 3/4 of a pack to a pack for a day for years and years. You looking up Dennis Hopper now?
Well, I forgot that the Mandela effect that I came up with. For the story from David Lynch is that because he's such a weirdo, David Lynch's script had him inhaling helium, and then he had this crazy voice, and it doesn't actually make you high, which makes it so bizarre. But Dennis Hopper, being like a drug addict from the 70s, was like, it doesn't make sense to do helium. make it nitrous oxide, like popper. Wait, is
Right.
that no?
Right.
No, nitrate is poppers, and then nitrous is crackers. And I used to be like, I love crackers, you know, and you know, back in the day. And so I loved doing
Never
the
done
impression.
it.
But now I'm on the thing here. It says that he wasn't doing nitrous oxide. It was amyl nitrate, which is like what people inhale to make their buttholes loose. I was wrong about that. And I should never have ever compared
There is
myself
something that people inhale to make their buttholes loose. What possible purpose is there for this?
There's only one, Ben. And I think if you thought really long and hard, you'd know. They sell it at the sex shop, which is why I'm so embarrassed, because I've been all these years being like, hey, yeah, Dennis Hopper. So we're all learning something new tonight.
So he's basically getting ready to take like a pineapple in the ass. Is that what they're saying then?
Or something. It just it's a Mandela effect, because it doesn't make sense. Because see, Dennis Hopper was telling David Lynch that it didn't make sense for it to be helium and that it would make sense to be nitrous oxide. And now I'm telling Dennis Hopper, rest in peace, it doesn't make sense for you to be inhaling amyl nitrate. You should have been inhaling, well, I guess now I should say Brown's gas.
So you know that on that last episode of Crow I was on with, Crow basically described the functional way the Mandela effect would work.
Well,
I was dying. He's like, you know, because enough people, you control the psyche. If enough people all have the same idea, which is basically the mind of God, you start changing God, you start changing reality. This is how the Mandela effect would happen. Like, I was dying.
This is how this is the next thing I wanted to bring up, the transhumanism idea, where everyone's here. I mean, I know this is like so 101. It's like, good job, Rose, you figured it out. But I was seriously like breaking it down all over again, as if I had never even seen The Matrix before. And I was just like, you know how they're trying to upload consciousness into a machine, and basically, I don't know why these rich people don't realize that they're basically describing the proverbial hell, that you could be always under the threat of being deleted, and it's not even your soul. I mean, let's just get real that this isn't even possible. But just philosophically, the idea, like, what if that already happened and we're in hell right now? And that is what we're doing. You know, like my eyeballs are looking through my body like being John Malkovich, the movie. There I go with another movie reference that you probably don't know because you do things that matter in your life. But you know what I mean? Like I was thinking to myself, like with my disability and how difficult it is for me to traverse a world that isn't really set up for the way that I operate, that I am the kind of person that maybe my existence would be like, I would get more done for humanity as a whole if I was a cyborg merged with technology so that I couldn't feel pain and that I can just operate normally. But then, but even if I did that, I wouldn't want to, because then I would be separated from all the cool people that I want to be with in the world who are natural humans. And I would be stuck in a hive consciousness with a whole bunch of people that think that's okay and probably got vaccinated. So it's like, this is another example. Just after I had my opposite, nobody can explain why my DMT thing was the opposite and the most painful experience of hell I've ever been in, that I'm in physical reality right now. And I've got so much going on. I don't want to make it worse. I don't want to make it. I'm not even going to try to ever make it better, even though I'm technically doing that right now. But I mean, I am here for the length of time that I am here. And I'm going to just exist in this reality. And I don't need to try and do anything with my mind, except I'm going to begin teaching, even though I have no experience with it, kind of like this gas, I'm going to be teaching a meditation course with an expert meditator as a way of forcing myself to learn how to meditate. And screw every other chemical because everybody's different. I get emails all day long, and like 30 of them are from people that healed their bodies completely from the worst illnesses you can possibly imagine by eating nothing but fruit. And then they're like, you have to have Dr. Robert Morse on. And then there's another 30 emails from people that completely healed their bodies from switching to just meat. That's the experience that they had that they're reporting. And then they have another guest who's all about the carnivore diet to recommend. And I just want to help people. And I just think that as of now, after 300 and almost 400 episodes, that everybody is different and they're on their own physical and spiritual path. And that there's like a billion kinds of computations of those environmental and behavioral factors that put you in a position. And you can't, everyone's where they're at in that journey. And so it's all about using your own discernment and reevaluating what your goals are. Like,
you know how bound up Rose was? Holy shit, she's like diarrhea at this point. She was so bound up.
It cleaned me out too. Remember, it cleaned
me out. This hydrogen just has her just on. Woo!
So what do you have to say about that, Ben?
Well, you obviously you were very bound up, and now everything's starting to flow, and look at you go. Look at you go. That's amazing.
I thought I was always like this.
You're always kind of, but not like this. And you're actually, you're always kind of, you're chipper and kind of go-ish, but not this bad. You know, not this much. Like, wow, it's shocking. It's good stuff. I'm impressed.
Oh wait, someone is calling it a scam.
It's calling what a scam?
I guess. Well, I mean, what else? I'm just scrolling up in the comments.
So there's definitely, and I've seen the videos too, because I do alternative science. So I've watched the videos. There's all kinds of different theories that water isn't hydrogen and oxygen, that whatever they're doing in this machine, it's coming out of the salts. And that's just not the case. The same salts, the only thing that you're actually putting back into the machine ever is distilled water. The same salts that you put in the initial solution is what it always has. And I asked him directly because of it, because that was also a concern of mine, because this is a high hydrogen salt. So there's a lot of questions about that, but the fact is it, no matter how you look at it, it's pulling in or it's splitting out extra hydrogens, and you're definitely getting hydrogen. People don't even really argue that at all. You know, which George's machine isn't exactly like other machines. Other machines are supposed to be doing just the direct splitting. And then I've seen videos where the guy on the oxygen side, it doesn't appear to have oxygen. The hydrogen side absolutely working. The oxygen side doesn't appear to be, but they also only run the machine for like a second, but like 2-3 seconds before they do it. And so you aren't really given the oxygen and a chance to build up. And when you're looking, if you're splitting water would be 66% hydrogen, 33% oxygen, right in that range. So your hydrogen's going to build up twice as fast as the oxygen is, without a doubt. So the people that are
66, would it really be 66 and 33? Because what if the molecular weight of hydrogen and oxygen is different? So 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen wouldn't necessarily mean double the oxygen. It's been forever since I took chemistry, so forgive me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you might end up with more mass of oxygen, but I doubt it. Oxygen's, and hydrogen are both pretty, they're floating around mixed together in the atmosphere consistently, So they're got to be, I don't know it off the top of my head, but they've got to be about the same approximate atomic weight. Obviously, in that oxygen has needs. Oxygen likes to grab, and hydrogen's got some extra. So they kind of like go nicely together. But so a lot of people disagree with what's going on with the machine. You know, typically they didn't really put much effort into it. There's a lot of people that just put out jackass debunking videos. Like I said, the ones that I've seen, like where they go to the oxygen side, they only run it for just a second, and then they're like, see, it didn't. And the way you check and see if there's oxygen, if you put a heavy oxygenation and you put like a burning ember in there, it should flame back up. And it didn't flame back up, you know, but the hydrogen side definitely popped. So they're like, see, blah, blah. Not real great videos. Haven't seen them. I'm doing my own experiments on it. That's why I haven't talked about it a lot yet. And just finding some real interesting things. The thing that I'm finding most interesting, that I'm most interested in working with, is the machine in and of itself. There's a sludge that develops in the solution, in the electrolytic solution.
I was going to bring up the sludge. We are going to talk about the sludge.
The sludge, yes. The sludge. So this sludge is a metal sludge that matches the metal that the electrodes and the plates are made out of. And they did some guys at Georgia did an experiment, and they just started keeping this sludge, and over a couple year period they got 19 pounds of sludge developed. And then they went and weighed the electrodes in the plates, and the electrodes in the plates still weighed the exact same as they did when it had started. So where is this sludge coming from? Yeah, this is some fucking magic sludge.
That's the mud flood, because the earth is a
that's what I'm saying
model, and the sludge is the byproduct of the chemical reaction of the earth. And that's how apparently in some regions at some time it isn't as crazy to consider the idea of a sludge coming through the freaking firmament and
just straight through the ether.
Isn't that crazy, people in the chat? Like, did you guys even think that we we're going to start bringing up the freaking mud flood when talking about Brown's gas? It's because we're bringing all these ideas and people together, and it's just so interesting and cool that to me, it doesn't even matter, because we're exercising our brains by even considering this, that we could even believe. I was so brainwashed by science, Ben. I'm sorry, school. In school, they made me think that everything was astrophysics and way more complicated than it needed to be.
That is the most fake ass bullshit science. Astrophysics. It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday! Oh, no wonder I wanted to do a stream tonight. Yay. That is awesome. How old are you? You're a
46.
freaking grandpa. You're such a young grandpa. So
7 times.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Where was I going with that before you said it was your birthday? Someone rewind it. Anyway, we'll move on. But I remembered what I was going to say before, which is that Crow and I were talking about diets, and I was, trying to figure out the ultimate truther diet. Like everybody has something in their diet that's like, oh, that's diet woke, that's baby truther talk. What is the perfect diet? But it's kind of I think it depends on, like I was saying before, where you're at and what your goals are. Like on any given day, my goal might be, I just want to think about the benefit of all living things and be on a spiritual path. But then another day, I might be like, I'll do anything to be healthy. I just want to feel good in this world while I'm here. You know what I mean? So the one is less selfish, one is more selfish. So it's like, are you trying to go for health? Are you trying to go for spiritual? and also I might want to feel good in this life and operate at my fullest potential so that I can be of useful service to others. But then maybe maybe for me in my particular body, that would require eating something that I didn't want to, like a pig, which I think is like really smarter than a dog. So it just or like a squid. I wouldn't want to eat a squid because they're so smart. So it's like, but if that was what my cellular biology required in order for me to be healthy, then maybe I would lead the successful life in this physical realm that I wanted to, that my goal was, but then I'm going to end up back here right all over again in the future. And I could do that again. Or maybe there's another way to live that isn't as healthy for your physical body, but then you get to progress spiritually and not come back. What do you think of that idea?
The old Gandhi idea?
I don't know. I never followed Gandhi on Instagram, so I don't know what his jam is. What did Gandhi do?
Mostly molest little girls, like the rest of the girls.
That is not what in school. He's supposed to be a nice guy, I thought. And that reminds me, we're going to be doing an episode on Coach 777 Radio on Edgar Allan Poe and how the story about him is all wrong too. You're right. I never do this. And why am I doing this today?
Because you are just amped. You've had a blockage for a while, and now that stuff's getting able to incorporate, and you're just and like I said, I'm a.
How do you know it was a blockage? No. Explain the physics to me. Why inhaling this gas? How do we know it was a blockage? Blockage of what?
So even with a plant, if you start getting imbalances, what'll end up happening is like, let's say you have now selenium and magnesium. These are polar opposites. Selenium makes your muscles contract. Magnesium makes them loosen up. Selenium so these are two polar opposite things, and they're working in conjunction with each other, and you need them to be equal because you equally need your muscles to contract and loosen up. You wouldn't want your heart to just go and stop, and you wouldn't want it to just do that and stop. It's got to do both. So you need both of them. Now, in your body, and just like in a plant, if you start take nitrogen for a plant, you'll end up, you put a whole bunch of nitrogen in the plant because nitrogen is what basically is the largest component used for vegetative growth. Now, so then you get real smart and you go chuck a whole bunch of nitrogen on there. And then what happens is now you get what's called nutrient lock.
A drop of water just fell out of it. What does that mean?
It's gonna get some condensation in there. You're creating humidity. It means you should probably be breathing more heavily in through your nose. You're probably not breathing in enough, and because while you're talking, you might be breathing in and out through your mouth.
I've been sitting here doing this. How
right, but I think when you started talking, you automatically switched to breathing through your mouth, and you went and talked for minutes straight, and I think the air's just built up in there. And now you're back to concentrating on that, and you're like, hold on, water's in here, because it was only just splitting water. So but the hell was I just saying?
Well, I remember
nutrient lock. Yeah, nutrient lock. So the plant will end up getting a nutrient lock, and then it can't even use it. So now the plant's not even using nitrogen anymore because even though there's a whole bunch of nitrogen there for it, it's got what's called nutrient lock. And typically what you would do in that case then is strip all the nutrients out of the soil and then go ahead and start putting nutrients back into it. But now what hydrogen is doing is making things able to incorporate into your system really easily. So you're adding a whole bunch of extra hydrogen, and now it's letting those things incorporate in that weren't being able to incorporate in. So any blockages that you had where you had imbalances are going to start working themselves out, especially if it's from a nutrient lock situation. And if that happens, imagine this plant that hasn't been getting any nutrients because it's got nutrient lock, but there's a whole bunch of fucking fuel all around it. And all of a sudden it can take that fuel in. Woo! And look at you go.
Well, I've been taking so many supplements for years, ever since I quit Big Pharma. And I wasn't absorbing them and they've been blocked up. And then now that I'm taking the gas, all of them are going like when I'm ingesting all of this.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. So you might have been blocked up because you had too much of it around, and that's what Mercury's job is. That's what water's job is to allow the transition from one side to the other. Okay, that's what Mercury's doing.
Stop talking about Mercury because we have to do an episode on Crow's 777 Radio.
I know.
On Mercury.
I know, right?
I'm going to send you.
That's going to be fire.
The reason it's going to be fire is because I'm going to send you the transcript to the last episode on Mercury that we did. So it's like you can expand on it. And remember when I was telling you about how I got brainwashed by school that science, particularly physics, because natural science and chemistry, because of the equations, made like perfect sense to me and like rocks. But physics, I don't know what happened. It's the only class that at the end of the second semester, I had a freaking B+ instead of an A. And but that's it's a problem. It's a problem because I don't think I ever learned anything in any science class because I was so focused on getting an A. And by the way, the physics teacher, I actually talked my way into an A-. And I don't even know how I did that. I deserved it. But anyway, that goes to show, right? It just doesn't mean shit. I was so obsessed with getting an A and I got my A's that I failed to ever retain anything. Like the other day, I was like sitting on the toilet and thinking, how the fuck does a light bulb work anyway? Is it fire and then it's the actual glass around it that dictates what it looks like? Oh yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like I had to actually work that out. And then I had to tell Jason, I'm like, Jason, don't tell anyone about how bad with physics I am. And I'm looking at these jars with the bubbles and just trying to think about the most basic concepts of physics that I actually asked him this question. And I actually said, like, nobody can ever find out about how I am about physics. But I asked him, what would happen to that jar if the hole on top was plugged? And he was like,
eventually the lid would pop off.
He was like, what do you think it would? Because he was probably thinking that is the dumbest question I've ever heard. Like, what does she think would happen? But nobody had ever asked me that. No teacher in high school ever asked me what I thought. So I hadn't even considered thinking. And I'm just finding this out because when he asked me what I thought, I was like, it would back up and eventually it would back up into the machine and then eventually it could explode, right? Right?
Yeah, you'd definitely get a higher concentration of hydrogen, a super high concentration, and then it wouldn't explode until there was a spark of some sort. But yeah, it'd be dangerous as hell.
It was concentrated gas. The gas would get more and more concentrated to the point where I'd probably see it, and it would look really thick, and then it would get so concentrated that it would start to back up into the machine, and that's why I said explosion.
Yeah, it might be able to. I don't know how strong the pump is on that.
My point isn't the machine is dangerous. My point is that I needed someone to ask me what I thought in order for me to comprehend that if a hole is plugged, that the thing would fill up. Isn't that sad? What's that?
Well, that's most people though. Like you used to watch that, you could, that Jay Leno used to like doing that jaywalking, and he'd go around and ask people stupid things like how a toaster works, and understanding that, it's a real simple thing. And most people should be able to work it out. You send electricity through one side, get a bunch of resistance. Resistance turns into heat. Heat toasts your toast. Pretty simple. And people just, no idea. it just works. It's magic. This is how we ended up in the dark ages. You know,
this is what I want to know too. This is a big one for me that I think a lot of people out there might hear this and think baby truther, diet woke. She doesn't even hear her own research. But what microwaves do is what is occurring inside the microwave is that it's heating up the water cells within the food to cook it. And then when you put it on top of a fire, it's heating it up to cook it. So is there really a big difference between cooking something and eating it out of the microwave? And we talked about this with Eileen McCusick, and I think I'm siding with her that obviously you can prove that EMF is bad for you and it can cause problems to your cellular biology. But on top of that, there's human consciousness. And so I feel like maybe our consciousness can overcome that to when you're eating the food that has EMF in it, that your consciousness, if you're eating it with intent, can reorganize those water cells to positivity. Like if you microwave something and you put your microscope on it and it looks like those kind of like 440 angles instead of the 432 angles, then you should. Do you see where I'm going with this, or am I like totally going crazy?
It's two different types of energy entirely.
Okay.
So like when you're looking at Lucas's and my galvanic cell that we're working on, and we were just even talking about this last night. So when the hydrogen fuses the particles into the cathode or the sun, that's creating a fusion reaction, which releases this radiation type energy. But that's not really where like the heat of the sun is coming from that we feel. The heat, I think, is from where the oxygen's what's carrying over that particle. And now the oxygen has to jump back over to the moon side. And I think on the cosmic level, then that's a thermite reaction. And that thermite reaction where the oxygen's jumping, thermite reactions throw out insane amounts of heat. A lot of people think thermite is a thing, but it's not a thing. It's a reaction. All kinds of different things have thermite reactions. What it is where oxygen molecule jumps from one particle to another and bonds to another particle. And when that happens, it throws out an insane amount of heat.
Did Tesla talk about thermite reactions?
Yeah, thermite reactions are insane. And you betcha he knew what was going on. So, but the thing about a thermite reaction is a thermite reaction needs a secondary reaction in order to kick it off, because oxygen it's already in a stable molecule. It doesn't want to jump over to another molecule and incorporate into that. So it's an unnatural jumping. And so you need a secondary reaction in order to get this to happen. And then when it happens, it throws out just a ton of heat. So the hydrogen reaction that's incorporating the ion, that's what's setting off then the thermite reaction, and that's what's creating heat. So there's two different kinds of heat, and one of them's a radiation, and it's not the same at all.
Two questions. What did Elsie King Lucas think of your episode with Crow? Because I know that you guys don't have the exact same thoughts on the galvanic cell Earth model theory. And number two questions in one. Where does the spirit sun or second sun idea fall into this model?
So I don't think Elsie's listened to it. Because he's been too busy hanging out in truck stops, giving hand jobs to hobos.
I object.
Truckies. I'm sorry, truckies. He's in Australia. It's truckies. It's a truckie stop. My bad.
Everybody
No,
and just thinks they
Lucas
can be
is so amped. Lucas is so amped about doing this episode. I don't think he's listened to a damn podcast since you guys asked him on. He is just all about that. Plus, he had a rainstorm, so we had to go out and get his greenhouses ready and everything else. Plus, him and I just have our normal talks every couple days or every day or twice a day sometimes while we're working things out, because we call each other and, hey, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. And then we argue for like half an hour, and then we come to an agreement.
Why wouldn't he want to listen to your episode before even writing his notes, even though he already provided notes before you? But I'm just saying, wouldn't he want, even though you're friends, wouldn't he want to make his episode better than your episode? So listen to your episode first, and then like that's what I would do if I was him. But
right.
He's so comfortable in his thoughts that he doesn't need to know what you said. You think that's it?
Right. Well, we're both we talk to each other at least 10 hours a week. So we know what the other one's thinking, or we're just dead talking to each other.
So how do your thoughts differ, and why are you right?
Well, he doesn't believe in the cycle that's happening. He's coming around to that. The cycle where
Ragnarok.
Yeah, he does not believe in that at all. He thinks we're in a totally enclosed system that never ever has outside charge put into it.
So wait, you're not even.
And so he doesn't think that there's.
You're not a flat earther anymore?
Huh?
You're not a flat earther.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I still we live on a flat plane. It's man, the inside, we live on the sludge of the battery. That still that's still basically flat. And then we live on top of the crystal bridge. And then that crystal bridge is being held up through a magnetic field, so that's part of why it can kind of slightly tilt and shift. But other than that, and that's going to happen through quantum locking, where it can just stay at a different angle. That's some real interesting shit, quantum locking.
Yeah.
Which only takes place on the cold side, as opposed to the hot side. But it's all just a system that's working together. We live in the cosmic egg,
That's what threw me off.
It's just straight out.
That's why it threw me off. What do you think? Well, in the galvanic cell theory, what is the Odinist equivalent, the Rainbow Bridge to Valhalla?
Well, Valhalla was in the ether, and the Rainbow Bridge would connect the ether, these places in the ether to the other places. Well, then you look at the salt bridge. When you look at a galvanic cell, you've got. Can you bring my little drawing right there over, baby? It's right there in front of you. The galvanic cell. It's looks like a shitty Ben drawing on a white piece of paper. Hey, that's it. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I know. Isn't that a great? There's a reason I'm not a fucking artist.
Like normie listening to this conversation, and I just went back to the idea of that we're living on the sludge of a battery.
Right. So when you're looking at this is going to be the sun. This is going to be the moon. This is the cathode, and then this is the anode. And the environment is going to be your mercury, the electrolytic fluid, and then it has to be connected by a bridge when you're looking at it. So this is literally just a standard galvanic battery. Now, also then when you're looking at it, so then your negative is going to flow through the bridge, and then your positives are going to kind of go through the air. And this is hilarious because I keep losing track because it's all ass backwards when I'm doing it on the thing here. So this is where the hydrogen's helping incorporate things into this side, because this side over here is breaking down. During the galvanic process, this side breaks down and carries over and builds in this side. And so that's what we're living through right now. And that has to carry through the mercury, and then it's connected by the crystal bridge, which is your salt bridge underneath, you know. So that crystal side is what's opening it up. Now, when you're looking at it then, like the human body then, so what you've got is the cerebrum and the cerebellum. And the reason that it has that bellum is because they're at war. These two things are opposite polarities. But that's not the end of the story. Then you also got your mercury, which is going to carry that down and connect that to the bridge. And you've got your salt side, your groin side, your goat side. So this is where your crystal bridge side comes out. So, and I can't even explain this shit right now because holy smoke, I'm going to totally bust up my crow episode coming up, because there's just a whole bunch of things I'm getting ready to say right now that I can't say.
Yeah, do not say anything. I muted myself to see if that helped. I guess there was an audio problem. I'm so sorry if there was static. It could have been because I was unmuted while you were talking and I have my volume on a little bit loud. So I hope that helped. But what was I also going to... Did I interrupt you or did you finish that thought?
No, I had to... Oh, no, I didn't finish the thought and you didn't interrupt. I had to stop the thought. And
yeah, we had to stop the thought because we're saving that for a show. But I just want a couple more people have shown up to ask, what is it that I'm breathing? This is called Brown's gas. So it's separating hydrogen and oxygen, and I'm breathing it. And it's going to help. It seems to have unblocked something in me because I'm having a really energetic night. And I think I was only supposed to do 30 minutes tonight, but I've been, oh wait, you know what? I think it turned off. It's off now. I'm done with my treatment. So let's see if I just like start to go, I'm like the flower in E.T. and the Brown's gas
it lasts quite a while. The effects. It's pretty shocking. Christy got a cut on her hand. And she was washing dishes. And she got a cut because the glass broke. So she took the attachment for that. And where the cut typically will go, like, it'll turn bright red about just on the outside of the cut. And then where the cut actually is, it turns white and that skin hardens and kind of falls off eventually. And, you know, where the scab develops and stuff. She didn't get a scab at all. Her skin kind of just turned just a light pink and just kind of started fusing back together, and it never developed a scab or anything. So super interesting.
Yeah, you told me about that. I thought that was so fascinating because I'm actually healing from it was probably a mixture of a pressure sore and an infection, maybe a bug bite got infected, and then it was like the worst spot right above the ischium bone, which is like it's like your butt bones, the 2 points on your butt, and it's like the worst spot for a paraplegic to get a wound. And I actually, the first thing I did was I actually talked to Agent J on Telegram. And I told her all about it, and I told her about how I was taking coated silver, David Avocado Wolf's coated silver, which is 20,000 ppm per drop, and usually it's like 30 ppm of colloidal silver. So it's like taking one drop is like a whole bottle of colloidal silver. And she suggested that I take herbs and make a tea. So I took Amanda Vollmer's tea, 2 different kinds of teas that I had from Amanda Vollmer. And then I put colloidal silver in it. And I also put a few drops of DMSO. I don't know what I was thinking. I just did that. And then Jason put a hot compress on my butt. And I think it was the colloidal silver.
That must have been rough for him.
I know. It must have been, colloidal silver must have been so powerful because the abscess got so much smaller so fast that I just stopped even thinking about it. And I ran out of the colloidal silver. There's only 83 drops per bottle. And I was just going to town with it. And I think that running out of the colloidal silver was the equivalent of stopping antibiotics mid-course. I'm not even kidding.
Right.
Because a couple days later, I go to a restaurant with Jason where the booths are just wood. There's no padding whatsoever. And I didn't bring in anything like a pillow or anything to sit on. And I don't know why, like, I ordered food and I asked for a mug of hot water and I brought my own freaking tea. So I can't blame the restaurant. And I just got so sick that I just had to go back to the car and he had to just get everything to go. And the food hadn't even come out yet. I think that I was sitting on the abscess that was like regrown and my body just went into autonomic dysreflexia. And so I had to call the concierge doctors that I told you about that I hired. And he was like, no ER, anything whatsoever. I like didn't want him to see my dirty room. So like I go into like another bed and I like lay on my stomach and he comes in and I'm just like crying. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to, if we lance it, it's going to be an open wound, which is its own problem that can contribute to the pressure sore. So it was like, I'm not like, it's just the most awkward situation where you're just like laying on your stomach and you're like asking this man if he should cut open your butt. And I finally was like, we like didn't know what to do. And I was just like, just do it. And he's like, well, maybe we should wait till tomorrow so I can order some lidocaine. And I'm like, no, man, my brain is telling me right now, like the pain of the whatever's in there is more severe than like what the cut would be. And I don't think my brain would even sense the scalpel. And it's so weird because doctors who've been doing this for like decades, it's like they still don't even like remember like paralyzed, you know, like because they don't deal with it very often. So I was just like, just do it. And then like I'm just like la 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 la. And he was like, I just heard him go, I'm so glad I did that. And so I was like, okay, good, because I guess the pus came out. And so I've never seen this thing because it gives me so much anxiety and I start hyperventilating and thinking like, oh my gosh, what if it gets worse? And then I need to get like surgery where they take, you know, skin off my thigh and make it into a new butt. And, but apparently it's it's all better basically, except like I got the guts to feel it. And it's totally what we normally see, the opposite of what Christy just experienced, where I could feel that the edges are slowly coming in and it's that hardened white, even though I can't see it, I just know that it's that hardened white, flaky skin that Goldmember from Austin Powers would collect and put in a bottle. And I wonder if I should do that. But since I can't see it, I'm afraid that if I pull off the skin, it will bleed. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But now that I'm doing the brown cast, maybe it will just be so much better.
Well, you got to take and put that little cup on top of it. You want to show me a little cup, baby?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask you about that. And also, Jason made water today, and I drank the water, and the cup was dirty on the bottom. And I was like, Jason, this cup is dirty. I could see dirt on the bottom of it. And he's like, just deal with it. I was like, gotta drink my hydrogen gas. And then I got close to the bottom. Like, you'll finish the last sip because of the dirt on the bottom of the cup.
When Christy first moved in, like, oh, it was hilarious. So, like, anything that touched poop, she would just throw it away. Like that was it. It is now defiled forever. Like any Tupperware, any glassware, anything.
Wait, why is poop getting on your Tupperware and glassware? Because you just have so many farm animals everywhere.
Well, she's talking about right. Well, and that's the whole thing with the farm, you know. And so now,
now
now
it's into your kitchen and shits in a glass. That's amazing.
Right. So now we laugh about that. But yeah, you just get used to it, when you live in the city and you live in this certain condition, you get all worked up about stuff. But you just take this little cup thing here, and you should have a extra hose that doesn't have a cannula in it. And you can either go this way or like that. And you put that over the open wound and then let that hydrogen, just kind of flood the area.
Can you please hold that up in front of you and I'll take a screenshot? I think it came with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Kind of looks like it comes like a mushroom, looking like a mushroom.
Awesome.
You're like, why do I have a mushroom?
I'm going to click. Okay, so right now I'm showing my screen on the Crow site, and these are all of our links that we recommend. And we already have the Brown's Gas link. So if you click,
I'm about to get a hold of Clive DeCaro.
Oh, good. We're actually recording with him on Thursday, and although nothing new under the sun, we always want to talk about vitamin C, magnesium, and all of those things that he has in his store. But we really want to have the episodes be different and about something new every time. So I want him to mention hey, those are really good.
Oh, you put Brown's Gas Machine on there. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We already added the thing. But anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff like World War I and World War II. I don't know what Clive wants to bring to the table, but no matter what, it's going to be somewhat different because what I've noticed with all of in my travels, the story of World War I and World War II is different from country to country. Or this isn't World War I or World War II, but I remember when I was in England in 2004, this guy told me that in his primary school, they taught him that the England just, decided they didn't want to deal with it anymore and just let America win the American Revolution. And that they would have won it if they tried, but it just didn't matter. It was so funny to me and just bizarre. It was the exact opposite of what they taught us in high school. So it'll be interesting to hear.
And what we were taught in high school was nonsense too about the revolution, because we were all taught no taxation without representation, which is a very interesting dynamic because it already means that you definitely should be paying taxes. You just need to have somebody representing you. But that's not at all what happened. So we were coining our own money as a colony. And when the British sent their ships over, what they decided was that we couldn't buy British goods except for, see it right there in the bottom left corner?
Yeah.
See it? There's your thing. So the British decided that you could not purchase British goods except for with money coined from the Bank of England, the Rothschild Bank. So you had to then go to the Rothschild Bank, get a loan from the Rothschild Bank, and use that money in order to buy British goods. And then the Rothschilds got to charge you interest on all that and everything else, very similar to our today's Federal Reserve, which is why they don't teach this part of it in school. So the founding fathers realized that if we have to borrow money in order to purchase goods, that we can never, and we can only pay that back with the same type of money we just borrowed. So we can never actually get ahead. We can't actually start, getting ahead ourselves as a country. We will always be behind them and always be beholden to them. So they refused and they said, fine, take your shit. We'll dump it right in the ocean. We don't want it. Fuck your ships. Now, again, this is the same system that we have where we borrow money from the Federal Reserve, and that's what we use as the dollar, and then we owe interest to this Federal Reserve because we're no longer allowed to coin our own money. And that was a problem that when the country started, we would not deal with. But like I said, if they taught us that in school, then about the revolution, then we would immediately have to go, well, isn't that what we're doing right now with the Federal Reserve? And then why did we even throw the fucking revolution?
That's all I agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
What's in your water? Are those fulvic minerals?
It's my piss. And I pissed in here earlier. I'm
What is
joking.
that,
It's tea.
seriously? You
It's
don't
tea
do that,
with honey.
do you? Do you do
No.
the first catch of the day?
Absolutely not.
Well, see,
In
that's
first
the thing
catch of the day, I'm a 46-year-old man. What the fuck? Which one's the first catch? Because I piss 3 times a night.
We'll have to ask Amanda. She's your sister.
Like-
She's your alchemy
Well,
sister.
Well, I'm talking to her in a couple of weeks. I'll ask her which one's supposed to be my first catch because you know, like Sam the other day, he was on a show and he goes, "We're gonna change the name of the show to Old Men Pee." Because they all get up and pee like every hour. I'm like, which one is the first piss? Like I pissed at 2 a.m. I pissed at 4 a.m. It's now 6:30. I just pissed 2.5 hours ago. Is this one my first one though? Like
It's the first one after sunrise when you wake up. For the last time you wake up for the day, it's after sunrise. But you know, I think that there are so many ways for people to heal themselves that, like, for example, if you have cancer, you can heal yourself by taking Rick Simpson oil. Now, some people don't like the sensation of feeling high on THC. So maybe that person would weigh the options and be like, I think I'm going to drink my pee instead. And that's better for them because then they're not feeling absolutely horrible, which is weird for me to even imagine because I love weed so much, and THC, I can never get enough of it. I wonder if I smoke it, if it will work better because of the Brown's gas. Should I try?
Christy is not even able to dab because it's affecting her so much.
I can only do it right before bed.
She's only doing it right before bed because she can't even function. She gets so high, which is, and like I said, it's very, which this wasn't a effect that we were looking for or told about or anything. And it's just, she mentioned that. And I'm like, that's really weird because I've been getting nicotine headaches since the second day. Like, that's just very interesting to me. Like basically like I just tried to smoke 2 packs, you know, or like I'm 20 years old or something. And I'm like,
Speaking of cigarettes, my cousin Mike said something to me, and it's not often that people tell me things I didn't consider, but cigarettes, even if people don't smoke, this is an ethical question I'll ask you. And since you're a smoker, I used to smoke and now I'm a non-smoker. You're a smoker. So if we panic bought so many cigarettes, that is something that can be used for bartering in the apocalypse, the Armageddon situation.
Straight prison style. It's going to be cigarettes, ramen soups, and cigarettes.
Is it immoral, or people already smoke and they need it? Like, if I smoked, it wouldn't be immoral because, like, in my head, I'm just helping everyone who needs them. But if I don't smoke
passing out stale ass cigarettes from before the apocalypse,
Paul Malls from the nursing home. No, Ben.
Now even wiser. Here's that meme with the dirt. Even wiser would be acquire a few different varieties of tobacco strains and start growing them your own and become the actual supplier, because there ain't going to be anybody else around. And then even if you do have competition selling some stale ass Pall Malls, you'll be like, yeah, I got this fresh organic that I just ground up. You want some?
Or you're like, I'll crack open a Pall Mall and a Winston and make it into my own new cigarette and repackage it with, grape leaves and call it organic or something. And that'll really
Jesus Christ, Winstons were harsh.
Or maybe
my grandma used to smoke Winstons. That was the no bull cigarette. It was basically like the American Spirits of the back in the day, where it was supposed to have no additives. And you're like, well, then why does it feel like I just puffed a Brillo pad down my throat.
Yeah. I mean, this is like such a crazy story to just randomly pop in there. But in 2006, when I was living with my dad, because I had been kicked out of rehab because I had become too independent. And so insurance wouldn't cover me being there anymore. And the house I had been living in was 4 stories. So I was stuck in LA.
You were being naughty.
Dad, my dad's, we met at my dad's house. So you can imagine 2006, like smoking cigarettes in the front of my dad's house. And I just didn't agree with the vibe.
Did you ever explain to your dad that we weren't smoking meth and that Dustin wasn't smoking meth out there?
I did. I explained to him what a dab was and everything, but that was funny because he didn't understand the blowtorch. So I just, looking back, this was so dramatic and retarded, but I was only 19 years old and I had just been paralyzed, so give me a break. And I thought, I need to get the hell out of here. So I wasn't suicidal, but I wanted to leave. So I took a whole bottle of OxyContin and it was just like, I guess I need to go to the hospital. And then I was there for 3 days. They gave me a babysitter. I had so many cool conversations talking to the babysitters about, all the crazy people that they have to babysit. And then my parents were so mad at me, so mad that they're like, you can't come back here. So then I got transferred to a psych ward, and I love them so much. Like all the people, I just want to be friends with everybody. And every 2 hours at this psych ward, and like I don't even know where, I want to say like Pacoima or something. You give every 2 hours, you get to go outside into this patio, and they gave you 2 Marlboro Red 100s. That's a lot of cigarettes for free. So if you want free cigarettes every 2 hours, just pretend that you want to kill yourself. No, I'm just kidding. No, the cigarette, it's just weird how they will give these bad cigarettes with all these chemicals for free to people within the system. Like, don't even try to do American Spirits. Just give like
which I'm sure are horrible. I'm sure they're horrible.
The reason why they do Marlboro Red 100s, though, I was thinking about this, is that probably because some people are, they like to chain smoke, right? And so if you can't chain smoke, then you just give them the most hardcore cigarettes every 2 hours.
Well, and them 100s, shit, them things take like 10 minutes to burn down. Yeah. I knew this girl that smoked what were those called? Misties. She smoked like they were like 120s or 150s or something. These things were like this fucking long.
And they're really cigarette thin, right?
Yes, like super thin. It looked like she was sucking on a straw for half an hour.
Too well to go kind of status.
Yeah.
All right. I think what I'd like to do is I would like to, as an experiment, just go smoke and see if I feel anything different after the hydrogen gas. And while I'm doing that, should we play a Manowar song since we both love Manowar?
Yes.
All right. What should we do? Like a Fighting the World or like a Sons of Odin? What should we do? Warriors of the World?
I like Defender. I'm cheesy.
All right, we'll do Defender.
Defend them.
All right, so everyone, this is one of our favorite bands in the world.
I think we're unique.
Oh my!
Which somehow is from America and is everybody assumes it's an English band because like it's super popular over there, and they're from like New Jersey.
Exactly, or Brooklyn, actually. I think at least one of them is from Brooklyn. And yeah, totally American. I actually always assumed they were German because one of the first Manowar songs I ever heard was Eric singing Heart of Steel in Germany in German.
Nice.
And it sounds like Heart of Steel in German. If there's anyone in who knows German in the chat, I don't know why Heart of Steel Stand and Fight sounds like Schlock die Schlock. I have to figure out exactly what they're actually saying. Schlock die Schlock. All right, anyway, let's do this.
Their meaning will unfold. These words are all that's left. Though we've never met, my only son, I hope you know that I would have been there to watch you grow. But my call was heard, and I did go. Now, your mission lies ahead of you, as it did mine so long ago. To help the helpless ones who all look up to you, and to defend them to the end. Defender, ride like the wind, fight proud, my son. You're the defender God has sent. Ride like the wind, fight proud, my son. You're the defender God has sent.
Father, I look up to you. I need thy call. This letter ends my search. I'll live your dream. Now pass on to me. And I now wait to shake the hand of fate. Like the dusk awaiting dawn. So wizards, cast your spell with no heart to do me well. So it is written, it shall be, yeah!
Defender, ride like the wind, fight proud, my son. You're the defender God has sent. Ride like the wind, fight proud, my son. You're the defender God has sent. Ride like the wind, fight proud, my son. You're the defender
Oh, is Lindsay drinking the water?
Yeah, that's what she was complaining about. Jason gave it to her in a dirty glass.
Crap, I was muted that whole time. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
So nothing changed. And I mean, maybe the experiment was not a good one because the bong is so dirty that I'm not even getting anything anyway. So maybe I'll just have to do this experiment again after I clean it. But yeah, I've a high tolerance, and we'll see what happens when I.
Well, understand Christy's still able to smoke cannabis, but it's specifically the dabs that she's having an issue with, which you can't even compare the two in potency. You know.
I don't like
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know because I tried it, and I slept all through the night. So before we end the stream, Ben, why wouldn't I just sit here with it for hours and hours and hours? Why do they say like it has to be 15 minutes and then 30 minutes? Like it ended, but why can't I just put it back on and do another hour if I wanted to?
You'll have a healing crisis. So your body, anytime you make a drastic shift, your body's going to fight it. I've told I think on Crow before the story of my grandpa, who his live-in caretaker started poisoning him with arsenic, slowly poisoning him with arsenic, and
he didn't
when he went to the hospital. Right. And as soon as they took him off the arsenic, he got extreme shock and got super sick and started having seizures. And that literally was from taking away poison. Like, what's that?
Can I talk about
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Here, hold on. Christy wants to.
Hello, Christy.
Hey there. So part of what's happening is you're having a detox, like healing crisis. Well, you can. So, what was that? Yeah. Yes, exactly. So for people who don't know what that is, essentially your body starts dumping all the toxins you have in your body all at once. And all those toxins roaming around in your body make you sick again. So rather than it being stored either in fat cells or whatever your body was using to store it, now it's just free roaming in your bloodstream. Easy for all your cells to pick up again and then have that detox reaction all over again. In fact, one day I started, because you're only supposed to start at 5 minutes at a time. And I did that for a day or two. And then I got cocky and jumped straight to 10. And I instantly got a headache. And so I went, okay, I'll just, do what I'm supposed to again. And I went back to 5. I think I went like 5 for a couple days, 6, 7. And then I'm up at 10 now. I feel good. I love it.
I started with 30 minutes and I just did 30 minutes. And I had a pretty good day today. I went after he took forever because I didn't know anything about this thing, and so it's like mixing the lye and waiting an hour, and I'm like, is it possible that you could be doing this wrong? You know what I mean? And then he did it for 15 minutes, and I'm like, why don't I see it? And we're trying to put a tissue up to it to see if anything's coming out of it, and
right.
Then I did it, and I was just like, nothing happened. And, but then I slept. And then I know this sounds like not a big deal, but I just went out I finished a transcript. I was on top of my inbox all day. We planned to get out of the house at a certain time, which we did, which we never do. And went out to dinner, and nothing bad happened. And then the car ride didn't really hurt as much. And then I came home, and usually if I go out, lately, the past couple of months, I come home and I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I say yes to leaving? I should just stay home and then I have to deal with this, you know? And then, but today I plugged in my piano and played it. And then I texted Ben to do a stream. And now I'm just like randomly sitting in my wheelchair when I don't have to say yes.
Right.
So that's like
that's big
change.
Right. Well, and same like the very first, I think we did it once before bed the first day, I think, because I think we got it in the afternoon. And then we woke up after just 1 5-minute thing. I woke up the next day with energy, and I'm an early morning person, but I don't wake up with energy. I just wake up. And I woke up with energy, and I didn't want to sit down all day. I was like, ooh, let's do this and let's do that and let's do this project. And I could take on that and I could clean this and I could bake sourdough again. And I could, you know, I was just all over the place. And then I have, I don't know if it's arthritis or what it is, but I've got really bad issues with my joints from years of gymnastics, from massage therapy, from swimming, like from water polo, all those soccer, all that stuff. And I sleep with a lot of pain. I don't sleep for long periods of time. I wake up with pain often through the night. It's not always easy to go back to bed. And my back, like, even though that's not really the joint that bothers me the most, when I wake up in the morning, it used to feel like somebody beat me with a 10-pound sack of potatoes all up and down my back. And I haven't felt that way one morning since we've started doing this. And I sleep better. The pain isn't as bad. I'm enjoying it. I really do. And the water, have you tried regular water since you started drinking the hydrogen water?
Well, I drink the hydrogen water 1 glass, and I may have mentally screwed it up because I felt like the glass that Jason chose was dirty. And so I had a really bad attitude while I was drinking it. But my regular water always has fulvic minerals and coated silver, and then whatever powders I feel compelled to add. Like I have a gut relief that's zinc, C, turmeric, and L-glutamine. And then I have like other powders that have B vitamins. And I just always feel like, oh, did I get my B vitamins for the day? So I guess what I could do is just put all that stuff in the hydrogen water.
Right. I don't know whether you can. I mean, I don't know enough about hydrogen to know whether that would strip it out or make it more available to you. I don't know. But for me, since I only drink water or tea, and since I've started drinking the hydrogen water, regular water doesn't taste right. In fact, it feels like thin. This feels like it's substantive. And it quenches my thirst better. Like I used to be able to guzzle a giant thing like this and still be like, I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. I always felt thirsty. I don't feel thirsty.
I always feel thirsty. Also, I was told tell me what you think of this. I was just told by doctors ever since I had my Frankenstein bladder made that I have to drink water all day, every day, as much water as possible, or basically I'm going to die.
Right.
And then Tom Barnett on the show once said, that's a hoax. You know, you don't need to be chugging water. I just like take little sips through the gap in my 2 front teeth, throughout the day. That's what Tom said. But Tom's hardcore. He like only eats raw meat and like, he's specific. I asked him. Yeah. But he also he gave me some advice that I tried, which I hope is helping, which is to like squeeze a little lime in my water sometimes. So anyway, like I was talking to Ben earlier about all of the different ways, like all of these people that are really healthy, like everyone has a different routine.
Right. The only thing that I've changed since, like I said, I only really drank water before anyway, and I drank a lot of it, like on average at least a gallon a day, if not more, and I still felt thirsty. And then a couple months back, I was listening to one of Amanda Vollmer's videos, and she was suggesting putting a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon, I think it's half a teaspoon of baking soda in warm water first thing in the morning. And I started doing that, and that was helping me a lot. And since we started doing the Brown's gas water, I have forgotten to do that, but I have felt just as good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so great. Going back to the idea of the Herxheimer reaction, let's compare.
That's my cut. Like a glass cut. I don't know if you could see that or not, but I totally sliced it on a jar that like broke as I was washing it. And that's wrong way.
That would have made me so mad.
Oh, it did. I couldn't believe I did it.
I know, right? Like, why? Why? After being on this earth for so many years doing dishes, why did that have to happen right then?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I want to bring up the idea of the Herxheimer reaction, the detox, and doing it too fast. You know, I think that one of the biggest virtues that I need to always remember is that, you know, all good things come to those who wait. You know, follow the instructions, then you're not a superhero, you're not invincible. But still, I know, right? It's the water polo in us.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like I've been taking so many supplements. So like the idea of a hangover, one person might drink the same amount as another person, but one person has the hangover and the other person who was more prepared and equipped for the poison, you know, handled it better because they were properly hydrated or maybe took the right amount of nutrients. So it's like, I don't know why, maybe I'm just searching for a reason to just do the gas all night, you know, but I feel like I've been taking so many supplements.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out a different theory, and I don't even know that it's a theory. It's just the way my brain works. So I almost wonder the opposite. So if you've like kept a super clean system and you're like totally healthy, you eat clean, your gut's like clean and clear, and you're well hydrated, I almost think that a hangover would affect you worse because you're not used to having that toxin in you. And your body doesn't have the same sort of built up reaction to it. Maybe that's just me, but I kind of feel like the cleaner you are, sometimes the worse things affect you because your system's like, oh yeah, I know how to work clean. I don't know what to do with all this shit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, no, it makes perfect sense because I feel like I have all this crap in my body, which if there was any truth to the whole thing with Lonnie Herman in Florida, there is, you know, like tons of old pharmaceuticals and drugs and mold and chemo agents. And so, yeah, and nothing like works on me that's natural. Like just, I always say this, that growing up, I thought that like herbal teas and herbs and natural medicine were for hippies that were already healthy that didn't need real medicine. And so I don't know if it's black magic and I'm literally the definition of being brainwashed, but I don't feel anything except basically a benzodiazepine or an opiate. Like that's the only thing that makes me feel anything other than maybe if I could get drunk, which I hate the taste of alcohol, so I can never do it.
Right. Like if you're talking specifically about pain relief, trying to think, I don't know. I've not really ever had to do a whole lot with pain relievers. I think I've had, you know, C-sections and wisdom teeth pulled. That's really the extent of my serious pain in life.
But you took painkillers for those things. So that's very interesting to me because a lot of people, the introduction, like just the first time that my brain ever experienced an opiate or a benzodiazepine, boom, that was fucking it. I have experienced that and I like that better. You know what I mean?
See,
like I never even knew about that shit.
Yeah, I haven't had to take, I mean, I'm lucky, I guess. I don't have the kind of chronic pain that is helped by that sort of thing. My arthritis or whatever the hell it is not helped. I won't even try, I guess, maybe I should say. I have never liked, like when I've had tooth work, I don't like taking the medication, but I did learn the hard way once that if you don't stay on top of it, then you're screwed. But I think the difference in general, maybe where pain isn't concerned with natural medicine for me is I I think when you feel homeostasis, it doesn't feel like anything. So it's hard to tell that it's working because it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like being you.
Right.
Does that make any sense? Like it's
Absolutely.
not supposed to be different. Yeah.
But I guess the difference is that when you took those drugs for your tooth because you like being you, that it made you feel off. And then other people, like maybe it didn't even have to be like my whole personality or like a truth of my existence. But what if even that day when I got my wisdom teeth out, that maybe that was the first time I had a painkiller, like it was that Lortab or something. And I actually don't even remember liking it or not liking it. So this actually doesn't apply to me in this situation. But hypothetically, someone who takes it that first time, if they're like having a bad day and that drug fixes it in that moment, where if like they weren't feeling good about themselves and all of a sudden they like gained confidence, even though they're like laying in with cotton balls in your mouth, you know what I mean? Like I think there's just a huge difference between people who are just comfortable in their own skin. And I definitely, I like a lot of things about myself and I'm proud of who I am. But for the most part, I'm like, how do I act right? Like when I was 7, I went to a camp, a summer camp, and it was like throughout the day you did different things. Like there was a water slide area and then like the equestrian area, and we were about to get on the horses, and all these other 7-year-olds around me, they basically told me to kick the counselor in the groin, and all of them told me to do it, and I was just like, all right, I will just do what they say, like just herd mentality. And I freaking did it. I remember, and oh my God, like afterwards I was like, ouch. And then I got in trouble and I couldn't ride horses today. And all the girls that told me to do that were riding their horses. And I'm like, okay, like the punishment really fucking worked. I was like, okay, that wasn't good just because they told me to do that and they didn't get in trouble and they told me to do it. And I was like
they got to have fun.
Yeah. And I felt bad afterwards, like, oh my God, if AI intelligence, like the singularity, can put me in contact with that counselor so I can apologize at the age of 36, I'll merge with the hive mind. Like, I just want to apologize to that guy. That's so dumb. I feel like I'm always trying to figure out how to what do the humans want? Like, how do I make the humans, like, as if I'm not part of it? How is everyone I want to make everyone feel better. And
okay, well, let me tell you the secret.
I'm not part of it.
There isn't one. Okay, well, this is the deal. You get to be in that mood only when you're choosing content for your show for other people. The rest of the time, you cannot help somebody who isn't ready to be helped. Anytime you need to be helped, it is a personal responsibility issue. If you do not have to demonstrate some level of responsibility to fix a situation, it will not remain permanently fixed. Somebody just helped you out temporarily, and it actually made you weaker in the long run because you didn't have to do it yourself. And being a massage therapist was the best lesson in that. I always wanted to help people, always, always, always. And I could do my best work. But if they came in dehydrated, or they were out drinking the night before, or they loaded up on 3 pots of coffee before they came in, nothing I could do was going to change the chemical situation in their body. I cannot take away inflammation that you keep putting back. And in fact, I had this one moment I will never forget. I had been helping a lady for a long time, and she was grieving for a decade or more over the loss of a person in her life who was very important. And it was coming up on the holidays, and she was telling me, like, oh, this is the worst time of the year because, you know, the holidays, I miss him so much. And then right after that is when his birthday was, and a couple months later is when his death date was. And it's just, you know, the worst 6 months of the year. And I looked at her and I said, do you think that maybe you could, instead of feeling all this emptiness and hollowness, start cherishing those happy memories and like go with the vein of happy, like sit there and remember those times. And out of, I don't know where it came from because she was a very feminine woman. This man's voice came out of her and went, no! And it shocked me. And I realized she wanted to hurt. She felt too guilty to move on. So that was a choice she had. And no matter what I was going to say to try to help her, she didn't want to be better. She didn't want to heal.
So, and quick question. Were you just saying a second ago that I'm not autistic, I'm just too much of a people pleaser? Wow.
Do you know who you can control in life? You. Do you know who else you can control in life? No one. No one. You can have the best advice in the world. You cannot make somebody take it. In fact, 99% of the time, people won't take it. If you do the work for somebody, they will become weak and unable to do the work for themselves. You can point them in the right direction. You can hold their hand while they're walking through the dark. You can be a shoulder to cry on. You can be a lot of things, but you can't be the person that fixes the problem, or they'll never know how to do it themselves.
Well, I don't claim to know how to fix the problem, so I usually don't even try, but if all I can do is not be a bummer and not contribute to the negativity that is being, like, that people are being coerced into cultivating, then I'm good. I just don't want to contribute to the negativity because I am so capable of that. I'm so, like, so that's the thing, is that we do just need to focus on, like, everything that we do. No, I wasn't Illuminati Me Reloaded. I just want to clarify, I was not. But I really resonate with, like, everything about autistic people. So I would love to know if I would have been. But it doesn't matter, because really what we should call it is the symptoms of really needing to detoxify from heavy metals, right?
Right. Okay.
We're all autistic because we're all poisoned cattle. It's so sad. I can't believe the world has come to this. We are poisoned cattle, but then there's like,
okay, but I'm going to say something. Not to negate that, because we are all poisoned, but I'm a firm believer in, if you focus on all the things wrong with you, you're going to be experiencing all the things that are wrong with you. You've met people who have, like, everything in the world wrong with them, and yet they can accomplish things that your average person can't. It's because they don't focus on all the things that are wrong with them. They focus on what's right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't address the things that are unhealthy. You should, but it should be just the parts of your day that you have to do something about it. And instead, like, I think that if you can focus on just, like, I don't know how to just thinking of yourself in the moment right now, like, I am healthy, I am capable, I can do those things, rather than like, oh, well, I have to detox the heavy metals, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I need to do a this cleanse and a that cleanse, and I need to do a protocol for this. Like, maybe you do need to do those things, but take it one step at a time. Be here now. Feel your body now. Maybe the plans you had are going to change because what your body naturally does to heal takes it in a different direction or in a different series of events. But think of yourself as whole and healthy and not as broken and needing fixing. My take on it.
I really appreciate that. I think it's like, I'm shocked by how happy I am that you said that tonight. Because I came into this stream with a plan. I'm going to inhale some gas, talk about some gas. And now it's like, we just got this is the real important shit.
Right. Well, that's, I think, the hard thing for, I mean, not that men don't want to fix too, but I think women try to fix everybody but themselves. And it's easier to point the finger and see what's wrong with everybody else, rather than, not that I'm accusing you of doing this at all, but I think we want to help other people so badly that we forget our place, and that our power lies in fixing ourselves. That's the only place we can actually apply any change, any impetus. I don't know. You're the only playground that you get to work with, you know?
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm doing is I'm trying to search for whatever it is to just help myself be the best that I can be, because I think that that's what we're supposed to do, is we're supposed to just try to be better than we were before, try to leave the world a better place than it was before.
And that's the thing, is by changing yourself when you feel like change is necessary, or by strengthening a characteristic you already like about yourself, when you show people that it's possible, that's where they get their hope, where they get their motivation is, oh, well, she did it, I can do it too. But you can't do it for them. You just freaking can't do it for them. And you will harm yourself trying to make other people better.
Yeah. I obsess so much about the show Crow 777 Radio, and just trying to produce enjoyable, like an enjoyable experience that really like truly could help people. And so since that's what I feel like that's like my directive, my function every day. And then also I hear these episodes and transcribing them, I'm hearing the words of these people that I really respect. And I like, for example, when I first woke up with Mark Passio in my ear all day, every day, this, South Philly accent, just being like, it's, willful ignorance, but even worse, like the people who like know the truth, but they don't do anything about it. So I'm like hearing these episodes and it's like, I'm getting this information. I have to do the information or else I'm a bad person, or I have to do the information, do it before I could tell anyone else that I recommend it. It's like, I think that, and Jason was pretty much getting at this earlier, like fucking chill out.
Right.
That's what I should do.
It's not my place to give it to you, but I'm going to give you permission to give a shit about the show. You can give a shit about using the show as your gift to the world, where you do bring excellent guests on, and you like, that is your mission. That is your purpose for now. That's cool. But that is the end of where you get to be responsible for other people. And you can't even be responsible as to whether they pick up on the information. Sometimes, I mean, I'm just going to be an example for a minute. You might put on some show that I desperately need to hear, but I woke up on the wrong side of bed and I'm a cranky bitch today, and I'm not going to hear it no matter what. And that's not your fault. It's not that you didn't bring a great guest on. It's just that I wasn't receptive today because I was in a bad mood. You can't control that. All you can do is bring the best content forward that you can. And from there, maybe I'll listen to it again in 6 months and really get it then. Maybe I missed it today, but it doesn't mean that the opportunity is gone. But in your personal life, you got to drop that or it's going to eat you alive. You cannot control other people. And you also can't control what they think of you or whether they like you. Like, you can't make them. And honest to God, like I probably don't want to know what some people think of me.
You don't, because I get emails about what people think of me, and it's like freaking horrific. And it's like, I know I could never please people. And also it's like, oh my gosh, if on August 15th, we put out a Flat Earth episode, whoever heard that for the first time that is not receptive to that topic is never going to listen to an alchemy, the alchemy episode that came after that. And maybe the person who listened to the alchemy episode, they could have been here last week and they heard the Flat Earth episode and that would have totally woken them up. I cannot obsess over those things. But what I'm really getting at here is that when I'm listening to the information, it's like I have this information. If anyone who I ever like try to contact, except for a very few, like Wim Hof rejected us, like people who I think are like super like big and like busy, like boom, right away they want to be on the show. And it's like, how freaking big is my show? And it's like, I just feel like when I'm listening to them that I'm supposed to help myself. Like I have a responsibility to myself to take that advice for myself, not for anyone else. So I don't even know what to do with that feeling.
So you can only do so much at one time, and you can only implement so much at one time. So take a bite. Don't swallow the whale whole or the elephant whole. Just take a bite. Take a bite.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't like, this is the most important therapy session. I feel like we need to do an episode about this. Because what if there's someone else that's going crazy? And here I am thinking about someone else again. What if someone else is going crazy? Like, for example, when David Avocado Wolf came to visit me, he gave me this bottle, and there's like all of, it's called Cellular Detox, and there's so many ingredients here in here that I've never heard of. Buplurium root, platycodon root, Chinese licorice root, Chinese mint leaf, burdock fruit, forsythia fruit, trichosanthes root, scutellaria root, coptis rhizome. I feel like I'm showing off in class right now, reading out loud words I've never read before. Dengui root, white peony root, prepared Rehmannia root, Ligusticum rhizome, scilla root. Like, I've never even heard of these things. And I'm thinking, like, what if I needed these my whole entire life? And then, like, you know, I took like 6 of them, and it's like the next day I was like, man, that work. But I don't even know what they're supposed to be doing to me. And then I fell for this one. I fell for this one on Facebook. Well, actually, it's just a bunch of like vitamins, but then there's this super greens and probiotics blend with artichoke leaf extract, Cyneris scolimus, 4-1 spirulina, and then almost all of the probiotics on the market right now are just bullshit Bacillus coagulans, but surprisingly, this one has Bacillus subtilis. So just because it's different, that excited me for diversity, and it's like just aloe vera, kale, moringa leaf, broccoli, barley grass, chlorella, parsley, spinach, and celery. Like, seriously, if I eat all these supplements, Christy, and there's a million bottles in here of all different kinds of shit. If I eat all this stuff, then can I just also just eat microwaved cheese on crackers in between and then be okay? Okay. No. Explain all of this to me.
Okay, stop. Okay, so what you're doing is like, you're trying to do everything all at once, and then you're expecting a result that you can then pinpoint like where it came from. And instead, like, okay, first of all, my personal opinion, I am not a doctor, I am not a healthcare practitioner, so understand that. But your body knows how to get things from food. That's what your body recognizes. It's going to have, when you eat a piece of fruit, it's got fiber, it's got oil, it's got salt, it's got body, it's got everything in it, and it's bioavailable. Your body can actually do something with that. And I don't necessarily I think supplements can be great, but I think so many supplements on the market are not bioavailable. And sometimes, like, not everybody needs everything. I think we overdo a lot. And I know that you have some very specific issues that you're dealing with. And I don't know about them, and I don't know what your body needs. You may need some very specific things that I don't. Did you go away?
No, I'm still here. I have to blow my nose.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. But, you know, in general, I think the best thing is let food be your medicine. Start from there and figure out, you know, clean up your diet, make sure you're getting exercise, make sure that the information you're taking in and the people that you're around is all good, healthy stuff. And when you clean up the environment, give it some time where you're consistent and you're doing all those things to take care of yourself, and then see how you feel, reassess. And then, like, okay, well, what is it that I feel like I still need to work on? I have inflammation. I don't like that. What do I need to do? Tackle a problem instead of just like, it doesn't sound like you have a specific goal. And so you're taking all these things wanting to feel a difference, but you don't even know what difference you're wanting to feel. Right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, oh yeah, I'm supposed to press the orange button. I'm trying to figure out how to stop a brand new pain that I thought was killing me when I first felt it, because it was below my level of injury and I had never felt it before. At this point, I guess it's neuropathy, because I feel like I'm being stabbed and electrocuted. But right now, the fact that I'm rolling around right now and doing stuff, it's like, I don't know if my brain is just giving up and like getting used to it, or maybe I'm getting better. And I am obsessing over, what could it be? Could it be inflammation, or is it my spinal cord giving me the wrong messages? Because electricity is usually neuropathy, I think. But then again, something could be a tumor. I actually don't think I'm capable of getting a tumor. I don't know why I have this idea, but just let me have it. Like, I just don't think I'm susceptible to cancer. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I'm a paraplegic and there is a tumor growing and then it's pressing against, let's just say, my bladder or something, then maybe it could be giving me a neuropathy feeling of like interstitial cystitis, which actually is inflammation, but it could be coming off to me as neuropathy. So it's like all of this mystery is not good with my, like, I have to know the details of what the fuck is going on in the world. Because it's like, I've got shit figured out that we've been lied to. Like, everything external, I'm like, lies, 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 lies.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Cats are cute, provably. And then, like, what the hell is this meat bag I'm in, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because we want to be healthy. We want to feel good in our bodies. But I think sometimes when we obsess about it, we're more focused on what's wrong. You're more hyper aware of the bad as much as you are the good, often more than you are the good.
Yeah, and that's why, in my experience, the TVs in the nursing homes are like keeping it like even possible. Because in a way, the nursing homes are kind of like, I've had so much experience with them at such a young age that I just like, I could see like the patterns of just when the TV is off, the pain is just more noticeable. So that right there is proof that your attention has an effect on it. You know what
true.
I mean?
Well, and I think it's funny. I mean, I don't necessarily know with our generation, but like I definitely know with the generations that are older than me that I have had experience with, the more pain they're in, typically the busier they kept themselves. And oftentimes you wonder, like, why are they doing that? They're hurt. They're making it worse. They're just keeping themselves busy, and they're keeping themselves productive. They want to feel like they're contributing. And the more time you have to sit and focus on pain, the more you're going to feel it.
For sure. So I just need to get this together. I need to get my shit together and just try to ignore it and just go back to playing the piano. And also, in this whole time that I was doing the stream, I could have been cooking. I just realized I have that capability. I'm like, cut, move it around. I'll just pretend that I'm a great chef that can have a reason to do that with a frying pan. But I've done that a couple times. Do it right now. So fuck the crackers, man. Fuck those motherfucking crackers.
Damn it.
I know Binaboo agrees with me. And we should do a stream about like IV DMSO and all that stuff. Now that you know, it would be interesting. And I know we were supposed to talk already, and I don't it's just hard for me sometimes to talk about this stuff. Of course, unless I'm on a stream with 50 people watching, but I think you know what I mean. But yeah. I have these concierge doctors now, and basically like the tables have turned and I've become the customer. And I even asked them about IV vitamin C, which is offered by the ketamine infusion place, which, by the way, I do not think that the ketamine infusion is, it didn't make the stabbing electricity stop. So I'm not going to keep paying money to like see if something that didn't work, because it just doesn't make sense, and it's a pharmaceutical, and I don't have time in my life to be having a trip that I don't even remember because they add the propofol and the Versed, so it's just retarded. But they said, oh, the vitamin C is like a waste, because if you pee out, bright pee, yellow pee, it means you got enough of your vitamins, and this is the extra. So a lot of people do absorb. And I'm like, but I have stomach issues, so maybe vitamin C IV would be good. But I could probably just show them some studies or just some succinct information so that they won't feel worried, and just tell them what to order me, or tell them what I need, like get a nurse and an IV and get DMSO, because isn't it true that that's the only way I could do it? I mean, how the fuck else am I supposed to get an IV of DMSO into my arm? I need a professional to comply. you know?
Right, exactly.
Or I can find like a heroin addict somewhere and just be like, hey. Oh wait, no,
What
but
do you know?
they don't even do it IV. They just do it like one time. Ugh.
So
oh my God,
I'm
I'm
just
sick
gonna
of
tell you
needles
stupid
doing that. And
semi-related story. So a couple years back, when Ben and I were first dating, he had this cyst on the back of his neck, and he had it before, and he had it surgically removed, and it grew back. And so he's like, cut it out for me. And I'm thinking to myself, you're insane. And he's like, no, cut it out. So we go, like, we cannot get a scalpel. We went to vet supply stores. We went to like any place you could go to. We could not find a scalpel. So genius that I am, I'm like, X-Acto knife. Come on, right?
Yeah.
No. Oh. X-Acto knife tears skin. It is not good. Not good at all. Don't ever use an X-Acto knife. Don't. I mean, I sterilize the thing and everything. Don't use X-Acto knives, people. It's bad.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
You just told all of these people, you just helped them for the Armageddon situation.
Yes.
God, that did that.
So it turns out that you can sometimes get, like, depending on the like feed store, you might be able to get some veterinary scalpels. We were later able to get one, but they were shaped in such a weird way they weren't very useful. Anyway, so Ben, in order to handle the pain, is holding this wooden plank, and I'm like, oh, don't hit me, because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt him so much that his natural reaction is just to whack me with it.
Right.
I end up like having to suction the sucker out, like, but it went away. So a couple weeks later, I wound up with this little like lovely ganglion cyst on my wrist. I'm like, I took care of Ben. I can take care of myself. So I was going to go ahead and lance my own.
But the ganglion cysts are fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't really hurt. They're just big and ugly and whatever. So anyway, I decide that I am going to go ahead and drain my own cyst. I should not practice medicine on myself. It's not a good idea.
Oh my God.
I stuck the needle in, and then I stuck it through and into the vein below it, and then almost passed out.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out when you just told me that. I just realized I had a ganglion cyst. That's how I even know what a ganglion cyst is, and it's gone. So what supplement was it that did it? What food was I eating that did it? But you know what? It's also called a Bible cyst. You know why? Because in the olden days, the cure for a ganglion cyst is to slam a Bible onto it.
Yep, that's what they did for my grandmother. They whacked it with a book in the doctor's office. He didn't even warn her. He just like had her put her arm out and he whacked it with a book.
It's like the old like pulling out a tooth.
Right. So I wasn't very afraid of popping it or like draining it. I didn't want to pop it in my skin because fundamentally, I think if your body has put something in a sack, it's trying to keep it isolated and away from the rest of your tissue.
Yeah.
So I wanted to drain it. So I was going to put a needle in it, plunge it out. That's what I wanted to do. I did not want, I'm not a doctor. Again, I'm not trying to make any medical expertise claims here, but to me, my logic says my body encapsulated it for a reason. It doesn't want it free flowing in my body.
Right.
I don't know.
Wow, so much good stuff. So I love this conversation. We should do this more often. Oh, Illuminati, I love that. Isabella Rossellini. And also you asked, or you said, I was looking at your previous comment about ketamine being mainly for depression. Here it is. So the reason why I even considered doing ketamine as an option for this stabbing electricity was because it helped me in the past. And I'll tell you when it helped me, and it was for PTSD after I had my aneurysm, splenectomy, forced intubation, and restrained. They put me in restraints during the intubation because, you know me, high tolerance, they couldn't legally sedate me enough. Like, well, maybe it's not legal. Maybe they couldn't physically sedate me enough because I would have died. So I was just like, but I was sedated enough to, like, when my dad handed me a piece of paper that I like decided I should just write back in Japanese because I was thinking about Japanese class and I wanted to show off. but then it just comes off as like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But that was like the thing on the forefront of my mind, but I was really pretty aware. But after that, when they transferred me from the ICU into a regular room, you know how like behind you, like in a wall, they're like actually like wooden cabinets that are in, there's like locker room, like sections. So each I'm just sitting there, and this is like after the major drugs during the surgeries and all the stuff. And I was seeing hallucinations happening like flashes on like totem poles. And the images were so horrific that I thought, my brain is not creative enough to think of these things. So there must be some spiritual entity showing this to me, because like this is not coming from my soul. You know, like I'll give you one example. And the only reason why I remember it is because I remember myself explaining it to the nurse. I'm like, before you walked in, there was this girl and this boy walking down the sidewalk, holding hands like they were in love. And all of a sudden, the girl drove a massive knife into the chest of the boy for no reason. Like it was just like a violent, like a scene from a horror movie. And it wouldn't stop, even when I closed my eyes. And then I would like get out of my chair, get out of my bed and into my chair and like roll around. And then I'd look back at my bed, and I had like a pink blanket from home. And the pink blanket looked like an orgy of pigs in the style of the elephants from Dumbo in that psychedelic scene. So it was like constant things. And then I would look out the window, and I found out later that what I was actually looking at were 3 different lights in the parking lot across. But I was saying that Chewbacca, and I don't even watch Star Wars or know anything about Star Wars or care about Star Wars, that Chewbacca was coming through my window. And I mean, I actually knew eventually that it was all hallucinations, but I just couldn't stop talking about it and explaining it to people because it was so creative, and I really needed help. So I did the ketamine. I was Dr. Early in Santa Barbara. Once a week, he gave me 70 milliliters of ketamine as an IM shot right into the muscle. Not an IV, no propofol, no Versed or any other kind of like sedation. And I wouldn't say that I had a dissociative experience where I tripped, but I just like I played music, and I just closed my eyes and just went with the music. And I left after the first one just thinking, and I know this sounds so freaking corny, but I guess this is just another one of those there's nothing new under the sun situations where I was thinking love, wisdom, and gratitude. It was almost like I had like come out of like a really great AA meeting or something, but it was like from a hallucinatory, like really spiritual, like it was like, I was like, felt so corny saying it, but I was like, that's really what it's all about. You know, love, wisdom, and gratitude. I just need to chill the fuck out. And I was better.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting because, like, I don't know why my brain wants to go here because it's been screaming the whole time. But, you know, we call alcohol spirits, right? Like, and, oh, hi, kitty, kitty, kitty. Aw. Like, is there a spirit associated with each medicine? Is there, and when before, if they had combined the ketamine with propofol and everything else, was that a combination of different spirits that were then involved in your energetic field? I don't know. Just the thought. Oh, yeah. Baby kitty.
Well, with these 3 ketamine infusions that I just had, you go there. And well, the first few times, because I'm so afraid of needles, it was such a horrific, traumatizing experience. I just really didn't want to go back, no matter what the benefit was. And then we finally convinced them to start the IV in my foot, which nobody ever wants to do. But what the hell is the difference? You know, like they always like, oh, you're going to have a stroke or something. But meanwhile, I'm over here banging my toes every day, and my toes are like, you know, bleeding all the time. So it's fine. And then
okay, so I have to ask this because I'm like having a pain reaction on your behalf, even though you couldn't feel it. What part of your foot do they put that in? Please say the top, because if it goes in the bottom, I can't handle the idea of that.
Like if this is my foot, it's like a vein that goes over the top of the foot, like kind of by the ankle.
Okay. I'm okay with that, because the idea of a needle on the bottom of my foot is just not a bearable thought.
No. I don't even think you could easily get to a vein because it's such tough skin.
Yeah, good call. Okay,
oh my
cool.
Gosh.
I just went.
Remember, I had a mole. On the bottom. I'm gonna look right now. Did that go away? I had something on the bottom of my foot once, and it was so annoying that I kept digging at it, and I just thought, this is gonna be here when I'm 90 years old. Oh my goodness. Well, it's not on that foot. Now, here's the weird thing is that if I bang my foot, I will seriously not know until I see drops of blood on the floor and I can't figure out what the hell's going on. And then I'm like, oh, great, what's bleeding? And then usually it's like the space in between my pinky toe and the next toe. There's nothing on the bottom of my feet. I healed myself of that. So, Christy, I think the answer is that I need to stop paying attention to my problems, because all of these problems that I used to have that I forgot about are gone, right?
Right.
So the ticket is just forget about it.
Well, I mean, you clearly have more involved health issues going on than I do. So I can't really speak to, I don't know everything that you have to do to stay healthy. I don't know. I'm ignorant about that. I think you should continue to do whatever it is that you're already doing for specific results. But I think that you should take everything else day to day. I mean, stick to whatever protocols you're on, because you have to be consistent with things if you ever want to see results. But I don't think you should spend each day wallowing. Not that you do, I don't know. But you shouldn't spend all day wallowing in like, oh, this is wrong with me and this is wrong with me. And the more you sit there and look for things that are wrong with you, you will find.
Yeah. Well, you brought up the spirits associated with each kind of drug. Now we know the idea of an egregore, and we know that the pharmaceutical companies have no idea exactly how these drugs are working and why they are doing what they're doing. It's just basically statistics where they just do tests on a large amount, and they're like, well, 30 out of 50 people said that this fluoride pill that we're going to call Prozac helped them feel happier. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know why, but it does this. And so, yeah, chances are if you take that drug, it is going to have that kind of effect on you. But why? Is it because the doctor told you? Yes. The doctor tell you that. And so it's like an egregore that each drug has this idea that all of these powerful, respected people in authoritative positions in the society believe in, and they seriously believe it in the same way that people who go to a church believe in Jesus, to the point where even if there was no Jesus before, now there's a Jesus.
Right.
Because
and to the same degree,
everyone's thinking the same thing.
Right. I agree. The belief in and of itself makes it so. Yeah. An expert told you that white coat said, they know more than you do. They must understand better than you do, even though they're not living in your body. They're not feeling what you feel. They're not experiencing what you're experiencing. And half the time, I think the people who I know who have either multiple issues or chronic pain, more often than not, I think their doctors half the time think they're crazy. They distrust or disbelieve them. And maybe not entirely, but to some degree. And not only that, but I think that some doctors, I think that's kind of their protection of keeping themselves bought in. Like they can't face the fact that what they're doing isn't making people better, so they have to make it about the patient. Like, oh, well, she's just batshit crazy. She's a hypochondriac. She's blah, blah, blah. This should have made her better, but it's because she wants attention or she wants drugs, or no, it's because your medication isn't doing anything. It's probably just making things worse. It's toxifying the kidneys and the liver. It's, causing all this widespread inflammation and acidity. But yeah, no. It's just the crazy patient.
Yeah. And this whole society and this digital data collection BS, I mean, I don't remember where I heard it from, but I started using the term jacket, like they've got a dope jacket on your file, like that. I don't know if I mean, I would love to think that I can fucking travel to an ER in Illinois and still be able to say I don't have my driver's license or Medicare card, and I don't remember who I am. And, you know, them not see on my file substance abuse issues or ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, AKA I accidentally told a psychiatrist I was an anarchist, you know? So it's like, I really like talking to people when they come into my room, you know? And when I'm in the hospital and sitting there, if you can imagine me, now I have a YouTube channel. So in the future, if I ever, God forbid, I end up there, I'll do a live stream. But like, can you imagine, like, anyone who walks in the room, a psychiatrist, obviously I'm going to tell them my whole life story and everything I think. So I have oppositional defiance disorder and ADD.
Of course. Oh, I know. I can't imagine anymore the idea of telling somebody who believes things that are so contrary to what I believe, any of my personal beliefs, because they're just so contradictory that I'm going to seem crazy, just like they seem crazy to me.
I wonder, I've been telling everyone you got to get an affidavit of status and an affidavit of fact to protect yourself from the vaccine and everything. But what if we also should be paying licensed, you know, make sure they're like a flat earther or something, psychiatrists to just give us a clean bill of mental health, so that in court in the future, when all of this dystopian iron-fisted control comes down, they can't say that we're crazy. We could say, like, legally I'm sane.
Right. Well, I think that they're going to call their own experts no matter what you do anyway.
Right. They always need to get like a third party. God damn it. That wouldn't work.
They're going to have a paid expert that's going to come in and find some reason to declare you whatever they're going to declare you. The whole point is avoid the system, in my opinion. I don't want to tangle with the system. And, you know, for me, I mean, the way we live is so different than the way most people live. And somebody has to go a long way out of their way to come try to make me comply. A really long way up a really forbidding mountain. And you got to mean it to come here. And you've got to expect that there's going to be a lot of people with guns long before you ever get to my property. I don't know. I feel pretty good.
I'm loving where this conversation is evolving. Jason and I have just totally become those people that are just thinking about, you know, making our home like the sanctuary of safety, no matter what goes on in like their world, you know. And we got this solar battery that could like charge most of the house. Like I think it can charge a refrigerator, like the house fans. I don't think it can do the air conditioner, but if like shit really hit the fan, no pun intended, like I would have fans, you know?
Right. Well, the thing about it, like we live off grid and you learn to rotate power and you learn to do without something. So if it's, you know, Louisiana crazy hot and humid and you need the air conditioner, well, then you're not running anything else. You're only running the air conditioner. You unplug the refrigerator, you unplug the freezer, because you don't have to run your refrigerator and freezer all day, every day. You can unplug them. You're going to have to plug them in for parts of the day for sure. As long as you're not opening and closing them, you can actually unplug them and they will stay cold for some period of time.
Right. But then,
and not only that,
snack, you can't keep opening it. You gotta.
Right. That is the key. You really can't. But you learn to like, okay, well, what do I need right now? I mean, we can turn all the lights on in our house and we're going to kill the battery pretty quick. Or we can like, okay, we're both in the living room. We have the living room light on right now. During the summer, we will forego a lot to run the air conditioner during the heat of the day. Not gonna lie, I like my air conditioner when it's 110. You know,
But we also have a couple of other backup batteries that like you charge in advance. And we were thinking, basically what our thinking is that no matter what happens, not necessarily like the robots coming, the Nazi robots coming, but more like another hurricane. We need to keep the show. Like that was freaking bullshit trying to get gas so that we can record. Oh.
So I have a safety question for you for another hurricane. What are you doing about clean water?
Well, I'm so glad that I'm doing a stream in my chair right now. It's like I could just roll around. This is our Alexa Pure. And apparently we could take pond water. And we have a couple of extra filters too.
Awesome.
What do you think of that?
Awesome. I think that's a good start. But I also think that you should have water storage of some kind, because what if something like, so the thing with massive flooding is that all kinds of stuff can be flooded into your pond that isn't going to be taken out of your therapy or out of whatever that is. Like not everything can be purified, in my opinion. So if some septic system up the street overflowed and got into your pond, do you really want to filter that out? I don't.
Yeah.
So having some kind of water storage that you can control, that you're not going to run out of, that you can shower, that you can do dishes, that you can drink, and that you can take care of animals with, like 1,000-gallon tank minimum.
Okay, that's such a great idea. But I'm going to show you this is like our guest room. We're prepping room. And okay, this is really embarrassing because I feel like it's going to make me look like a baby truther panic buyer, but we just happen to have toilet paper. And then the storage bins. But then look, this doesn't count, but we have some extra water. And there's more water in the garage with propane and gas. And
good.
Oh, let me show you the other thing. And I'm really obsessed with filling up this room with supplies. And so we're going to have to move this stuff over so that my brain can relax. But we also got this stuff. Oh, this is great. You're going to love this. A couple of months ago, I was really upset because there was like a supply problem with gloves. So luckily my stepdad's a plastic surgeon. And so I got this whole wall of gloves.
Wow.
And I'm gonna keep asking for more as I go through them and just try to have that much on hand. And then this is the emergency food. And I really am excited about this. And it's freeze-dried green beans, freeze-dried peas, freeze-dried corn, and freeze-dried broccoli. And I figure that you need like a year to start a garden, right? And like nobody thinks about vegetables. And then this stuff is like, I don't think this stuff is, there's some crap in this stuff. There's
going to be crap in this
stuff. But it's apple cinnamon cereal, barbecue beans, cheesy macaroni, hearty tortilla soup, pasta Alfredo, and instant white rice, dried banana chips. Ew, I don't want that. Do you like banana chips?
I love banana chips.
Brown sugar and maple multigrain whey milk alternative. I just want to collect. I feel like I'm collecting baseball cards. I want to
Don't forget staples too, like getting 5-gallon food grade buckets that you can put rice in, that you can put different beans in, that you can put oatmeal in, that you can put like some bulk items that you can make into 30 different things with the freeze-dried vegetables that you have. With what you do plant in your garden. Whenever I buy organic, well, we try to always buy organic, but that's not always available. Anything that I buy that's organic and or from the farmer's market, I save seeds for every time, because who knows what might happen between now and whenever. I may not be able to buy seeds next year. And we save our seeds anyway from our own. But if I bought something that I really enjoyed, I'm saving those darn seeds. But I was going to go back to water for a minute, if you don't mind humoring me.
Yeah.
If if you're in the event that you know you've got another hurricane coming and you know that flooding is a likely thing and you're going to be stuck for a while, fill your bathtub up with water.
Yes.
And fill up every big pot you have. Fill up 5-gallon buckets. Fill up anything that you have with water ahead of time while the water is still safe and clean, while you're not relying on it after whatever contamination may or may not have happened.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up water, because in this past experience, like I was like, okay, that was like a Cat 5. That's like the biggest kind that it could be. And we didn't flood, and it only took 24 hours for the water to recede so that we could leave. And I really do feel like we're on the highest part of our neighborhood. We got so freaking lucky. Like if you saw the driveway, it's like this. And so, yeah, we actually weren't completely surrounded. The back, I still saw the grass. So
good.
But still, despite that, that doesn't mean that something fucked up can't happen to the water supply, because that time it didn't. That time we didn't lose water. So it's like, I almost feel like statistically, probability speaking, since it didn't happen that time, now the likelihood of it happening next time has now increased. So we need to focus on it.
I'm like totally into survivalist mode here for a second here. So you had mentioned, I think you said you had propane.
Yeah.
Do you have like a propane? Do you have a propane burner and or barbecue that you can use to cook on?
We are getting one. When during the hurricane this time, the reason we didn't get one is because our friend Brian O'Shea was here and he already had one. And it was so convenient that we're like, okay, we're going to get a grill. Like we're just going to get a propane only grill and then just order a bunch more propane. Speaking of survival though, if there was a fire right now, I would die, because Jason and I are always together, and we don't even have a ramp out the front door right now. And this, because of the weather, this door warped. Warped, and I can't open this anymore. And so Jason is tall and like he's strong enough that he can lift it up, but I'm too short.
Right.
So, he thought that, thank you, Jason. Oh, wait, did you come over here because you thought I was trying to get out, or was it just a coincidence? Oh, thank you so much. I guess I will got good now that I have the opportunity.
Fresh air is a good thing.
I love you. Thank you so much. So yeah.
So what's Louisiana like in November? I don't even know. I can't imagine.
It's so strange because it just went from just like it's summer, and then you're starting to realize that it's not like offensive to sit outside, and then now the heater's on at night. Like it's winter in Louisiana, and it does get cold here. The first year that I was here, I never thought that it would ever get below like hot and humid here, and it snowed. Right. The first winter I was here, it just a tiny bit, like, but it was visible. So and then I think last year there was a lake. And the Canadian geese here don't migrate.
They don't migrate?
Right. So it gets cold, but not too cold that they have to leave.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. Here, I mean, it gets a lot hotter here in the summer than I would have expected being on the coast. I mean, we're, I think, 30 miles inland, and it gets hot. I mean, not like it did in Redmond. Well, different coast. I mean, Santa Barbara coast is very different than the coast up here. But so you grew up in Santa Barbara. I grew up inland in the Solvang area, and we were much hotter than you guys. And like you guys would get sucked in all summer long, and it would be cold in the summer in Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
is my recollection. But where we were, it was always around 100. And the fog was like the beautiful thing. It would come in at night along the river, fill up the valley, and then it would burn off in the morning, and then it would get fucking hot and dry and stagnant.
Well, I feel like if you go up to 150 and over the mountain, all of a sudden it's a different weather, and it's just much more hot, just kind of like in the San Fernando Valley, you could get like 100 hot and humid, and that's like a different country to me. Like I'm like, take me home to Santa Barbara, because Santa Barbara, I feel like it seriously spoiled me, and so I grew up in that, and so now that I'm here, I like can't regulate, and I just have to always like use the app on my phone to adjust the thermostat.
Right. Well, up here, like the weird thing to me is that we have a wet season. And I've not really ever lived anywhere with a wet season. And like damp cold is a different kind of thing than the dry cold that I'm kind of used to. And like, I guess I've never experienced such long periods of time without seeing the sun. That's an interesting thing. And I guess I'm realizing that I'm more of a sunshine person than I thought I was. However, I do like the wet, and I do like having rain. I love living in when we moved onto this property, like we bought it sight unseen. We had no idea what we were getting. And when we drove down the driveway and there were ferns, I'm like, okay, cool. We're good. I don't care what the house looks like. We've got ferns.
I know. I just love beautiful green lush. That's what I love about Northern California that I haven't really. I mean, my favorite place domestically is Yosemite, and just the sequoias, Mariposa Grove, or just being in the valley and looking up at Half Dome during that time of day when the sun is setting and it's just bright pink. It's so magical. And we were actually thinking of getting an old ass RV that's like really big and roomy, and like figuring out some kind of way to like use a portable ramp to get me into it, and then getting like an old aisle chair for airplanes from like the 70s and just like using it if necessary. Just figuring it out. Because like Jason was just saying that, he still feels young and healthy and good. And even though the world is freaking crazy and we won't wear masks, we just have to try. We still want to go places and do things and see things. And I don't think the plane thing is going to happen anytime soon. And we want to come visit you.
You better. I don't. What was that?
Can an RV get up there?
I mean, you could get to Garberville and we would probably come pick you up.
Okay.
The problem is like the hills are so steep and it's dirt. If it's wet, it's really slick mud. And then you have to do like an almost 180-degree turn to get from the really crazy road into our driveway. And that's hard in a car. Like even in our truck, the wheelbase is so big that you can't do it. You have to do a 3-point turn. So I can't even imagine that an RV would be able to make that swing.
Well, we were thinking of maybe we could get, and like this is all just fantasy because I don't even know how much this would be, but we were also thinking that if we did have a big RV, that we could tow our teeny tiny little blue car that we have behind it.
Although, in fairness, I'm not sure that a teeny tiny car could make it up here either, because you need to have serious clearance on this road. Otherwise, you'll rip the oil pan out of your car.
All right. Well, never mind. You can pick us up.
Yeah. No, we'll pick you up in town and bring you home.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's he says we have a 4-wheeler.
Oh, wait. You mean like an ATV? You mean like an ATV? That is so cool. I need to do that.
That's saving grace.
Isn't it weird that I haven't done an ATV? I could ride it. Why haven't I done this before?
Yeah. Oh, you will when you come. Like, it was funny. Ben's dad came to visit us back in March. And prior to him coming out, I was actually in where he lives picking up some of the grandkids and bringing them home here to our house. And I was staying with him at the time. And he pulls up our house on Google Maps and he's trying to look at it because he wanted to come out and kind of help us with some projects for a week. And so he's trying to kind of get a lay of the land. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, first of all, he couldn't, like, you can't tell on Google Earth how steep the mountain is. It looks totally flat. And so he's like making all these plans thinking that it's totally flat. And I'm trying to explain to him, no, where you sit, like you're looking at the picture of the house and then where the road is. And it looks like it's just right there. Only I can't see the road from my house because it's up so high. I mean, I can see where it is, but you can't see the road. You can see that there's a ledge up there. there's a million trees in between, and like our driveway is steep, and our truck won't even make it up our driveway right now, like from the road up to the house. Like it won't make it this time of year because it's so slick and muddy and clay mud. And anyway, so he came out and he walked with Ben down to the middle landing and then down to the lab and then back up. And he goes, I'm giving you guys my quad. You guys need a quad. Because he just didn't understand how seriously steep the hill is here. It's not little. It's I mean, the Eel River is at the bottom of our mountain, and it's only, if I had to guess distance, maybe half a mile away. And it's straight down. I mean, it's down.
Rock climbing.
So yeah, but that quad is the most amazing thing ever, and you can whip around on that. Like if when we have friends come up, I usually ride the quad out the dirt road and meet them at the paved road, and then have them follow me in, because nothing out here is marked for good reason, and you don't want to go wandering where there aren't marked roads out here. If it's not marked, people don't want you here.
Right.
You know, people respect their private property, and I like that because I respect mine, and I will also respect yours.
And especially after what happened with those cops. Well, I guess that doesn't matter because they're just going off like they were retarded and didn't read like the tract right, and they came and they tried to bust down your door instead of your neighbors.
Well, and that's kind of one of those things that they're sort of notorious for doing, is apparently they like to come and raid the legal grows and go, oops, we got the wrong address. We chopped down your grow, and then they go chop down.
Who are these? Like, what human is out there? And they're like, my job is to like ruin a weed farm.
Because they get all kinds of money.
I still don't get it. I guess I just am a different species.
Okay, this is my paranoid whacked out theory, but this is my theory nonetheless. So here we go, world. I think most of us in our truther world sort of believe that Big Pharma will eventually take over the marijuana industry. And so what we're seeing on the ground out here, we don't grow, but most people out here do. Whether they're growing legally or illegally, I don't know, and I don't care. That's your own business. If you're growing plants in your ground, I don't care. I really don't. But I think that what they are doing is that they are extorting the people who go legal through fees and licenses that are absolutely ridiculous. They make you jump through so many hoops that it becomes nearly impossible. It takes any of the profit out of it. And then they come and sometimes raid the legal grows nonetheless and hack down part of, their profit margin. I think that they're raiding all of the illegal grows out of existence. You can only have your illegal grow that you put all of your money into raided so many times before you just don't have the money to grow again. And then for the legal guys, I think that they're literally trying to bankrupt them so that you can get the big tobacco companies to come in, and big tobacco, big pharma, both maybe, I don't know, let their big buddies come in and buy out the land cheap. Because the other thing that they do out here is that they try to find the hell out of you for any transgression they can find. And I mean, they are finding loopholes to try to penalize people. And then they just fine you until the fines are worth more than the property, and then they seize your property.
Right.
So they're seizing properties left and right. They're hacking down people's grows. And so this is my opinion. It's not an unpopular opinion, probably. But I don't have the right to choose what you put in your body, and you don't have a right to choose what I put in my body. Whether I agree with what you're doing or not, even if I think it's immoral and wrong, I don't get to pick what you think is immoral and wrong. I don't get to pick what you do. I don't know what your story is. I don't know whether marijuana helps you. I don't know if it's medicinal for you or whether it's recreational for you. I don't know if you can tolerate marijuana all day, every day, or if you're one of the few people who just doesn't react well to it. It does happen. But it's a plant in the ground. Back the fuck off. Leave people alone. I don't agree with putting people in jail for drugs in the first place. Like, it's none of my business. It's none of your business. If somebody wants to harm themselves, drugs is just one option. And you know what? Drugs might hurt their family too, in a way, but there are a lot of other destructive things that people can go do that can also harm other people in a bigger way than drugs do. So just, I don't know, take your enforcement and go away. Monitor yourself. If you're that hyper vigilant about right and wrong, go fix yourself or stick on your own side of the mountain. This is my side of the mountain. You're not welcome here.
Yeah. I love how you say that with a smile.
You know, I think that's the beauty, though, of self-sufficiency, is that when you know that you can take care of yourselves and you're not that reliant on the world, it's a lot easier to have that kind of fuck off attitude. Like, take it. Go away. I don't need you. You're not my big daddy government. I don't need you. I can handle this on my own. And so I can smile about it while I say fuck off.
Yeah, that's the rough thing about these legal episodes where people are like, the system isn't broken. You just have to learn how to use it. It works. But at the same time, I have that underlying principle that I don't believe in government, period. Even one that like people are happy with. I feel like that's just asking for slavery, and there's no moral, there's no moral way, even if you can't choose to be a slave. Like, it's against humanity. So anyway, but with that being said, during this time when they are trying to like ruin everyone's lives with this nonsense, it's like, use the tools that you have at your disposal. But I can't like get that caveat out every time that someone like says the system isn't broken, you just don't know how to use it. It's like, it's true, but it is.
I struggle with that myself in
the first place.
Right. Because to me, fundamentally, whether there's a system that can work beautifully for me or not, that's still subjugating myself to an external authority that I don't recognize as an authority in my life. There is no greater authority in my life than me and my own free will. My free will is my authority. My brain, my heart, my gut. I trust those things. I've cultivated those things. I have spent time developing all of those. That is my authority. I decide for me. I decide. You don't decide.
Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. That's the most important thing. And it's like, how can someone even, like, if you say that to someone, if you say that into someone's eyes, how can anyone look back at you and say, you have to do this? It's like, it wouldn't that even just feel yucky to even like have those words come out of your mouth how could you not feel in your soul that another human is a sovereign entity?
Well, and I think the part that they don't get, though, when you say that, is that I also understand that I'm responsible for the outcome. I'm not expecting someone to come in and save me if I make a decision that's bad for me. If I fuck up, I am accountable. I am. I'm not going to somebody else. And if you want to make my decisions for me, then you damn well better be accountable for them. You better make me whole, and you better make me right, because that's what you assumed the responsibility for when you decided that you were an authority over me. You can't do that. You can't promise me safety. You can't promise me security. You can't promise me an outcome. So back off and don't tell me what to do.
So is there going to be any recourse for what happened with the cops, or are you just like letting it go? Are you going to try and do something to get they should fix the door?
Recourse, the only thing the recourse we have is to make them fix a door. And I don't want to invite a relationship. I don't want to enter into a contract with them in any way, shape, or form. A door is a door. Big deal. We can replace a door.
I know. Well, what about, and I totally understand, like, I don't know the criminal code, and it would make sense to me either way, but can't you just freaking sue them for millions of dollars for emotional damages? Like, what the hell? I mean, they can't do that.
Okay. We could, but then I'm labeling myself a victim.
Yeah. And you're also, it's a waste of time, your precious life.
It is. huge waste of time and money, because I'm going to have to spend a whole lot of money to go through a legal battle to hope that I make some money back, to hope that the good old boys aren't in alignment and that judge isn't bought and paid for. And who in the judicial system isn't bought and paid for? When was the last time you heard of a judge that was honest?
So what do you think about booby trapping? I think that's moral, but I don't know if one could get away with it without having, if a cop accidentally steps in a bear trap, that's
around here we have animals. Our grandkids come and visit.
Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be good. And not only that, but I was a decent athlete when I was younger. As I've gotten a little older, I'm slightly more clumsy than I used to be and slightly less coordinated than I used to be. And all I have to say is that in 20 years, if I'm wandering around in the woods, a booby trap might make me the booby in that trap.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I wonder if the hydrogen gas, I don't usually get a runny nose, and I'm just noticing that now I'm stuck out there and I have to blow my nose.
Granted, we had just gotten a cold from people visiting us who had been in Vegas before they came to us. So they came with all kinds of toxic on them. I mean, it wasn't their fault. So we got sick after they left, and the Brown's gas really cleared that all out of my system quickly. It really helped me expel all the mucus. And it kind of cleaned out my intestinal tract too, like yours. It really I didn't think my intestinal tract was blocked up at all, but it was definitely more than I thought it was. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just everything got cleaned out, and mucus was kind of the big thing that I've noticed. It's anti-mucolytic, in my opinion.
I'm looking around for something that I can blow my nose with, or I can ask Jason to.
Yeah.
Huh?
Are there any big leaves out there, like mullein or something?
I found a sweater.
There you go. Great.
Well, we are getting to 3 hours, and I am getting a little cold out here, so I do want to go inside. But this chat has been going by so fast, and I wanted to acknowledge everyone. Hell yeah, we should do this again, like just the two of us, or just do it like this every time. Like every time I started a stream with Ben, eventually you guys just switch when the time is right.
There you go. That works. Well, thank you.
I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And I did just ask Ben to do this last minute, so I took up 3 hours of you guys' night, and I love you guys and thank you.
Oh, this is great. This was a great birthday present for him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Go have a happy birthday with Ben, and everyone else have a wonderful unbirthday or birthday, depending if you were born on one out of 365 days out of however many hundreds of people are watching. And good night.